Good evening,
Actually
everybody.
had a show tonight.
What's going on?
There's so much I got to say tonight, and I don't know where to begin. But first and foremost,
Let's begin right here.
Brother Shane picked out some great music. You know,
That was good.
I was thinking again. I went back to my youth of thinking of some nice 70s music with with the girls with the bell bottoms and the belly, and the guys are playing frisbee and everyone just having a good time. And that's what we're gonna do tonight. Except you're not gonna see my belly, and I'm not wearing bell bottoms. So,
please tell me you're wearing pants.
So we're wearing pants. And after listening to last week's show, I got to figure out what I'm going to do when I want to go outside because I did not like how I sounded. Jason, Ham Radio 2.0 was absolutely correct. My audio was horrible. It's probably been like that for weeks, months now. I can't have it. So we got to figure out how you got to help the old guy here figure out what to do when he's on a laptop and he wants, some more of that nice Joe Bread. I want some more of that Joe Bread audio.
Microphone,
right here,
USB, man,
right there. It's portable.
Just take it with you.
Chuck, when you get a chance, do you mind email me a link or something, or Amazon it or whatever. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Whoa! I'll send the affiliate link. That's Chuck. You take the night off.
All right. Speaking of which, we got some brothers. We got some Clubhouse brothers working tonight because that's what they got to do. They got to put food on the table, and we understand it and everything. And four-wheel redneck. Did I get some WD-40? Do you know that darn fan of mine? It didn't tip over, but those blades again started getting all cockeyed again, and I hate when things go cockeyed. And I was outside in the tent last night, and there it was making the same noise. And I'm like, this is crazy. So we got to fix it. Maybe I got Chuck. Maybe I got to get myself a diesel heater for that ice.
If you want to stay warm.
Well, man, I'm nice and warm already.
And you want to be safe.
And I'm safe.
What are you putting in there now? Buddy heater?
Mr. Buddy Heater.
Okay.
It gets it fine, man.
They say they're safe.
They say they're safe. I've had no issues. Many people. Hey, listen, it's like Ford and Chevy. Whatever you're going to drive, just drive safely, right?
His audio could have been because he's getting too much carbon monoxide. Who knows?
Yeah, okay. But listen, we're going to have a great show tonight. We got the man tonight, the tinkerer, the builder. Chuck is an incredible guy. It's true. He's been on Coffee and Ham Radio. He has his own YouTube show. That dog is 5'9". And speaking of 5'9", guys, we don't want anybody leaving right now, running away real fast. But James,
hey, I will be right back. Okay.
All right. James is on 7.239 in West Virginia, KE8 Papa Zulu November. He's at Kilo 7052 in West Virginia. Man, work him. He's got a deep pile up. You don't have to leave our show, but work him. It'll make you happy. It'll make him happy to get yourself logged. The pile up is deep. I worked him off the DX Commander. Bam. So kudos to that DX Commander. Bam. In the pouring rain here in Connecticut, the nor'easter that we're getting right now. So anyway, with us tonight, I got Steve. I got Joe Brett. We got Scout 75. And of course, like I said, we're going to be talking to Chuck, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of other things. And I got some things. I got to call somebody out. I'm going to call somebody out, but we'll do that in a few minutes. And
it could be anybody.
That could be anybody. I know.
Like, who's in trouble now?
Maybe that individual is in the chat right now, and maybe they're not. So tell you what, go wake up your girlfriend, give her a poke. Go tell the neighbors.
Easy now.
Get on YouTube because Izzo wants to talk to you. Go ahead, Steve. What do you got going on?
5.5 minutes into the show.
And we're already poking.
Already demonetized. Yeah.
We're poking.
So I've got a new antenna to build. Yeah, just one more thing to add to the video list.
Hey, forget to put the sticker on the back.
Yeah, what kind of antenna? Wait a minute, man. You're just not going to say that in 10 seconds and put it back on the... What kind of antenna you got? What do you got, man?
Well, we got to find out. That's...
Oh, So we're gonna do the open the envelope, the unbox. It can't be a box. So we're unenveloping video.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Part
one.
Part one.
and then we're gonna spread it across that nice.
One step at a
And-
time.
One step at a time. I am going to do it a little different than his instructions. It is going to be linked. So,
Okay.
but if you know the package, you know whose antenna it is.
Is it from the? Is it a ham radio operator? Let's
is.
play hangman on this.
He's
one.
wanting to save it for his video.
No, but
no, I'll play.
can you? Okay, just give. Does it have a from the four call region?
Yes, it is.
I know who it is.
Enough said. Okay.
We might mention him later.
Right.
We might. And I've got a little
We
TS430 sitting here that I got from a Silent Key.
The classics. That's a classic
am
radio, man. Back in the day. Back in the day, that was. Excuse me. Back in the day, that was.
That's a TS430. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It's a TS430S.
That was my
Before the
very first
440
radio.
came. Before the Chuck, am I right? Before the 440 came out, the TS440, that radio. If you knew somebody who had that radio, they were serious. They were
Yeah.
a serious.
It's good radio.
Yeah, you looked up to the guys like that. You know,
They had problems with the
absolutely.
screens getting dots in them or something though.
Yeah.
I never had that problem though.
Yep.
So I have two of them. This one actually powers up. Both power up, but the second one, the screen doesn't work for some reason. So I got to figure that out.
Screen problems.
But this one's going to a brand new General, and I have a high gain antenna that we're going to set up at his house as well. So there's going to be a whole video on that. Yeah, we got a few things coming. Oh, what's Shane talking?
Why are
about?
we spitting here? Why are we spitting? I had the TS. One of my first radios was the TS 130. That became obviously before the 140. And that was a fun little radio as a new guy playing around on HF. Yeah.
That's why, Bizzo. Shane says HRC Ham Radio Clubhouse is not responsible for your kids in 9 months.
That's right. Well, guess what? That's why you get a job. That's why you get a job.
Mm-hmm.
Those are hard to come by.
But you just don't make sure the job is not on Tuesday nights. But if you have to work, man, hey, listen, we understand. Hey, listen, guys, you missed it right before we went live here. Molson kind of went live with us, and Molson's business is absolutely incredible. These guys do primo. Well, what do I want to say? Design, construction. It looks like a Taj Mahal.
And you guys missed the rant.
Oh. Yeah, the Molson rants off air are really good.
Molson rants are good.
I think that's what started this whole thing.
Joe Brett, before you drink anymore, do you have to make any more runs? Or are you all set?
Runs?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Because
at least
if
for
we
30 minutes.
All right, because if we have to stop the stream tonight to make sure you have your man break.
The pork chops were a little gray tonight, but that's
great.
Can't throw out money.
The question is when you got to go, why can't you just, as they said in the movie Rawhide, let me whip it out. Why can't you just go right outside the shack there? Or is there a window to the kitchen where the kids are going to see you or the neighbors?
This would require a bucket, Izzo.
And
dude wipes.
And dude wipes. There we go. All right.
Shane with the super chat in there.
Joe Brett, honestly, man, you look like you took care of business. You look very content. You look like you just took.
I'm comfortable right now.
He's comfortable right now.
No worries.
That's a good feeling, man. That's a really good. Hey, man, it's natural. It's nature.
When you see me sitting back here, and I'm like,
when he starts sweating,
that bead of sweat comes
can't
across.
sit still, wiggling back and forth.
Hey, man, listen. You got to wonder if animals to have the same discussions as us, or do they just like, hey, whatever, just don't step in it, Barb. That's right. Chris is right. Don't forget the dew wipes. And Shane, our brother Shane, is throwing some of his money at us. 556. Thank you, and we appreciate it. We appreciate all the money.
Chuck, do you want to dance?
No, we don't have to dance.
Okay.
We don't dance on this show. I think he knows that. We don't talk about give me that milk and do that Macarena. And
we have said that
It's,
this
I
show
need
is
some milk.
is for your break. You know, it's your almost midweek break. So.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Ed with the super chat, and Jim.
Jim's in there. And Jim's in there.
Feed the squirrels.
Off the rails already. 11 minutes in.
That's why we have said 1,000 times this show is different. This show is different. We're not going to talk about soldering. We may talk about Bofang. We may talk about Kenwood ICOM. You know, the Yaesu this, the Yaesu that. You know, whatever. Yes, we're going to talk about
with Chuck on as a guest, keeping us on the level. We stayed on the rails a lot longer than normal. So,
you know,
we
said that. You know, no, that's an excellent note. Scout is right. And before I throw it over to him, Scout, you want to know how I know you're right? Many, many months ago, we said that. And it was like almost Chuck needs that priest collar where we're almost all on our good behavior. And it'll fit him. See, there you go. Father Chuck, Pastor Chuck, Reverend Chuck.
That actually wouldn't be me, but you know. Okay.
Okay.
No, he used to be in the fire service. I know.
The fire service.
Yeah. I'd have to do too much confessions.
All right. Scout 75, what do you got going on?
I have been doing all kinds of things digital as of late. I even got into the world of DMR today.
Saw your tweet. Yeah.
And boy, does my head hurt. But
no. Once you build your first code plug, yes.
Yeah, it's I'm used to the Yaesu System Fusion and D-Star, and for me
something
that's
easy,
straightforward. And this is, it's just like everything else. Once you quit trying to treat it like you treat everything else, but you start treating it the way it wants to be treated, it's like after I literally almost threw this thing on the ground. I figured out the zones and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like the skies parted. It's like, okay, I can figure this out. This is kind of cool. So I got that going. I got the MobiLink 4. I missed that first release, but I got 2 on order for the next release that's coming out in a month or 2. So pair that up with the MobiLink 3 that I have now. I'll be able to do basically have a portable MobiLink or a TNC for each of my mobile rigs, so I'll never have to be swapping stuff around. So you guys see me doing a lot more WinLink type stuff and JS8 call and FT8 from the field. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Do you have a DMR network in Wisconsin, in your region?
I got nothing in my region.
Okay, so you have no Brandmeister, no.
No. There's a System Fusion repeater that's about 30 miles away from me that I can get, and that is about it. APRS is dead in my area. It's pretty much just me and Tio. So, and he's on a live stream every night, so I never get a chance to talk to him. So it's pretty.
How about D-Star?
Yes, I think the nearest D-Star repeater is probably about 80 miles away from me.
All right, then can I listen? Yeah. I love you. I love you like you are my brother. Why did you buy a DMR radio if there's no network there?
Oh, I also got an open spot.
Oh,
all right.
See, this is why we buy. Yep. That's what I was leading to.
Yep, I forgot that.
He's no fool.
Well,
one thing always leads to another.
You had to stop before you said that with good reason, but I did think it through a little bit there. I did get the open spot. Been messing around with that, and like I said, since I'm doing a little more of that, I've been avoiding DMR like the plague. But it's one of those things I just gotta dive in and figure it out because everybody's using it, so gotta work with others. So
I will tell you, I think once you dive into it, whether it's an open spot or a DV Mega or whatever the new dongle devices or whatever they are, whatever is out there in the market today, if you're not going to do it direct RF like how I do it, which means I have an extensive D-Star network here in Connecticut, I have an extensive DMR network. There is some Brandmeister stuff for where I travel, so it's not like it's good, but if you do not, if you're in Scout 75's situation, it doesn't mean now you can't play. There are options for you, but yes, you're going to have to spend a little time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you get it going, you'll see how fun it is.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't talk, I know in the summertime, I'm walking all along the property here, literally, with the Icon 51, with the ID 51, and I'm just listening to various, talk groups and this and that, and it's fun to just listen to what other people are talking about.
Oh, yeah, it is.
What's on their mind.
I know when I travel for work, I usually bring like my 3DR with me, and sitting in the hotel room, nothing else to do, going to the different system fusion rooms and stuff like that and exploring it is a lot of fun. So I'll be able to do that at home a little bit now too.
For those of you who have the open spot, you can do cross. What's the word I'm looking for? Cross. I can come in on DMR on my DMR HT and go into, I believe, a system fusion, because I don't have any system fusion, but I can still get in, and that's one of the nice things. I'm sure there are other devices out there that'll do stuff like that. But guys, don't be afraid. You're not going to break this stuff. This stuff is there, and
that's what really appealed me to the open spot, because I am a appliance operator to the core. Looking at all the Raspberry Pi type ones, I can't flash a Pi. I'm not that guy. But that open spot, all I did is turn it on, hit the Wi-Fi button, it found my network, and then it's just click which button. It's so simple. It's what radio you're using. Is a DMR, D-Star, System Fusion. Click on that, and then click on what mode you want to go to, and then you start looking for your talk groups. And I was up and running in literally 10 minutes.
I will tell a story. I will tell a story, not to embarrass myself, but to show you how simple a mistake is and how fixable it is. Echoing the thought, I have the Open Spot 3. Okay, guys, listen, I'm not promoting it. I'm sure maybe there are other devices, but I fell into this Open Spot based on a lot of the YouTube videos from our YouTubers, friends here. And it wasn't working for me. And that's where the ham radio frustration comes in. And I'm like, I wanted to throw it up against the wall. I wanted to throw me up against the wall. You get frustrated. You know what it came down to? That the frequency, the simplex frequency that I put in the radio was not the same in the software. So, once I changed that, all of a sudden the thing oh my. So guys, we make stupid mistakes, and that's where, as my boss at work would say, the error is between the chair and the keyboard. Yes, literally the error was before the chair and the keyboard. But those are the simple ones to fix. And that's why I said, hey man, you gotta have a little patience, take a look at it. Don't, but you're right. Scout is right, guys. I can't tell you enough. It literally, you go in there and it's like, where do you want to go? What reflector you want to hop on? And that's literally what it is. And there's a lot more bells and whistles that you can dive into if you want. But if you want something really plain vanilla appliance, boom. And for you guys who are doing pies and all this stuff, God bless you. So I wish I had that knowledge and time to learn. But
you're talking about these digital formats and stuff. This is not a real radio.
Tell us, Joe, what is that?
I will be making some videos on this, but look what's on the screen.
Echolink. That's
Echolink.
right. Yeah.
This is one of the IP, the POC internet radios.
Okay.
If you want to call it a radio, communication device, I guess. So, company I got it from wouldn't give me the software, and so I come up with my own solution, and I got through.
Nice.
So we're going to be doing some fun ham radio related stuff with those.
Excellent.
Very cool.
All right. So no further ado, I want to introduce Chuck. I hope everybody, we got about 72 people watching. I'm hoping all 72 people know this guy. If you do not, you really, okay. You really need to spend a little time on Team Replay and go to his YouTube channel and watch some of the stuff that this guy has done. When we sent out the tweet earlier today regarding the show, I think we were being probably as when I said tinkering and building, it doesn't really justify what you really do, Chuck. You are this incredible guy who spent many years in the fire service. You know, as a firefighter, you moved up to management, and then you retired. You do stuff with your club. You do stuff. You have done so much. What I feel that a lot of hams should be watching you, because you take the hard stuff and you make it look easy, and you show it's really not all that hard. That's just what goes on in our head. It festers, and you do a very good job of conveying to us. Try it, experiment, build it. It's not going to be the end of the world. If you may even have some of that scrap metal or whatever you wire, whatever you may need, already sitting in the junk bin that's been in the garage for the last 8 or 10 years. That's been taking up space. Thank you for coming on tonight. It's long overdue.
Yeah, my pleasure, man.
We love having you, man. I don't know what I know you built a 10-meter antenna. You may want to talk about that, but man, take it away, man. Take it away.
Hey, thanks, man. Shane called me or PM me and asked me if we could do some easy projects, and he didn't leave it to just new hams either. He was including other things. So I put some stuff at the end that's stuff you should do after you try some other things. You know, probably the most simple antenna to make is a dipole, and there's many ways to do that, and probably the easiest setup you can do is a inverted V. I mean, it's hard to get a flat top, especially if you're doing portable. And some of the stuff I'll talk about is
good point.
It could be portable, or it could be something you build for your home if you're lucky enough to be able to have antennas. I am lucky enough. I'm not in a HOA or anything like that, so I've got a nice tower out back. It took me over a year to even start it. I bought it used and then put it up later. And
Hey, Chuck, real quickly. Yeah, Steve,
Yep.
Both of you could probably, so let's just stop right there for a minute. A lot of us don't realize what it takes to put a tower. Not only do you have to figure out what your heights are, where you're going to put it, but then you may have some local ordinances that you may have to follow. Then you're going to have to figure out how you want to dig it, how you want to ground it, how you're going to run the cable. Am I right? It's just not as easy. Let's just throw a tower up.
It took me. I mean, I didn't set mine up for over a year after I bought it, but I've had a lot of the parts, like the antennas I already had. I built some of my own antennas. I bought one antenna. Well, I bought two, but one was a used antenna. But the way I went on the site of the place that mine's an HDX tower. It kind of goes up, gets narrower as it goes up. It's freestanding. So I went to their site and got the specs for what they recommended for the hole. And a buddy of mine came over with this little Harbor Freight post hole digger. We put 22 holes in it and a 5x5 thing as deep as we could get them, and then I just chunked it out. And then I went down 5 feet.
There you go.
I dug it all by hand. The ground here is not too bad. I don't think I hit a rock any bigger than a couple inches, so I was very lucky there.
You're definitely not in the
Very
Northeast. You're not in the Northeast, pal.
So, but mine's a tilt over too. I made it a tilt over, and I've got a gate. I didn't have enough room to go straight back, really. I do, but it would have been into a hill. So I tilted it, and I've got two gates. My buddy goes, "Why don't you just open your gates and have it just drop between your gates?" I'm like, "Great idea." And that's how I get the antennas on and off, which I've only done twice, I guess. But it's got a little Harbor Freight ATV winch. It's probably way overkill. I bought a 5,000, and it depends on where you lift and how hard it is to.
And isn't it amazing from now again compared to a dipole? You could pretty much walk, like I'll use me for an example. I walked into my backyard. Oh man, I just kicked something. Hang on.
We can still hear you.
Yeah, I know. I can see that.
You just lost your camera.
Kind of looks like Molson's.
It does.
It is.
All right, hang on. Let me. You guys chat, talk amongst yourselves, and I just love a technical difficulty here.
Talk amongst yourselves.
This is why Mama said your face is not made for video, Don. That's why you ought to be a DJ.
Face made for radio.
Yeah, I go to adjust mine and his cuts off.
Well, there you go.
Oh, it's funny how that works.
Ain't it?
Well, anyhow, my buddy came up with that idea, and it worked really well. And my other buddy has a little bobcat, and he actually cleaned things up for me at one time. So it's even better than when I first put the antennas on there. I had a little kind of a. You have to have it up. My biggest antenna is the bottom antenna, so it has to be up above that one, which is kind of a pain because now that makes the end of it really high. But luckily the end antenna is just a 2-meter antenna, so it only weighs like 8 pounds. Very easy to put on. Actually, it was already on, tell you the truth.
I made a tilt plate for mine.
Yeah, at the top.
So,
Those are awesome. Yeah. I wanted to do a tilt plate for my 2-meter Yagi with with one of those what do you call them? Where it pushes it up and down. And then I could go vertical and horizontal at the same time. But I just never did it. But so and I haven't hung anything other than Yagis and stuff off of my tower. I've got, I'd have to pull it down probably to move the tower, which I never do. But so what I wrote down here, I guess you guys want to wait for Don, or does he ever come back? Or is he gone for good, or what?
He's back in the green room. He can hear us.
So, and I didn't do this. I've never really done this, but I've seen other people do this. These things are your friend here. These BNC.
Okay.
You can make a dipole. They come in 2 different ways, male and female. I don't know if I'm up there.
Oh, there you go.
So mostly I would use this one, and then you hang your wires off of that, and you make your dipole right off that, and you just come right down with your coax. And if you have to, let's see which one is it, you can put an adapter on if you don't have BNC stuff. So
okay.
So that's really one of the easiest ways to make an antenna. But the dollar store, let's see which way's up. Something like that. Cutting boards, these are $1 at the dollar store. Tell you the truth, the end one here, the end part really makes a nice little antenna type deal. Easy to cut, just like wood.
Is that going to be the new
lightweight
winder for the Chucky Hicks?
The winder, actually, that's not a bad idea. Now that you mention it, because that's a lot of wire on those things.
Yeah,
I bet.
Shoot, you could take a lid to a box. It's all in your own imagination what you want to use. I bought some of this. This stuff here is called. This is like an ABS, PVC foam. Have you guys ever seen this stuff? It's fairly thick.
Oh wow, that is thick.
It's pretty. It's pretty strong. But I've made them out of something. Well, usually a T. This is what I could find today. Cut the T in half, or you don't even have to cut it in half, and you can put all your wires on there. And you guys know you don't have to have a connector. You can hook your coax straight to it. That's an easy way to do it. It has to stay with it then.
Shane asked, "Do you need a 1-to-1 choke?" With that,
see, there's the thing is they say you're supposed to, but if you don't want to make one, it'll work.
Mm-hmm.
When we were down at Yosemite a couple years ago with Jason and Adam and all that, Adam set his link dipole up a lot of times, and he doesn't put anything on it. I think if you're putting it up at your house, is that Don?
No, I think
probably
it's
Scooter.
If you're putting up your house and you've got something really sturdy, put the choke on it. It can only help, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll still get out without it. Shoot. And if you're putting up on a really lightweight fishing pole for your center, you can leave it off or just make a small choke or something.
Yep.
I kind of like the chokes on the cable. I had one of those here too, where they put them over the cable, because that you can hook right to your pole, and actually that can strengthen the top of your pole just a little bit. I usually hook if it's really weak, I usually hook the coax a couple times at the top, just to help strengthen it out there. But a dipole's super easy for people to make. And right now, 10 meters is so good.
That's what I got.
Oh, yep, he's got
There you
his
go.
like that.
That was my very first antenna. It was a speaker wire dipole. Where,
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Jerry.
yep, yeah, it
yeah.
works
Yeah.
great. Like Chuck
And,
said, I just had this a collapsible fishing pole that I bought off of Amazon
Mhm.
for $20. I think $4 for a 2-pack of the connectors, and then some speaker wire I had laying around since I was a kid.
Yeah, and these
so-
things they're super light. I mean,
Yep.
I made Adam came out with his little small put your everything on the toroid, and I said, well, I can make something like that out of this, and I did a little QRP one with the toroid with a 49-to-1 on it, and it worked great. And I mean, it weighs nothing. I mean, when I did my pack out kit for my KX2, I was under 2 pounds for the whole kit.
Talking that
There
one
you
right
go.
there.
Yes, yeah, it's Adams. That one for some people is pretty difficult though. I actually never made it. I'm sure I could.
It's tiny.
But mine, I just put it. I have it around here someplace. I just put it right on top of here. It fits, the little 50 fits perfect on there.
Mhm.
And it's barely heavier than Adams, to tell you the truth.
Oh wow.
So a little bit easier. I mean, and you can do like this is kind of the small version of our winders.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Just a regular winder, I mean, and like ours has the BNC part on it.
Yep.
You can see it. You don't even need that. I mean, you could just hook it up anything. And this might be easier to see. I don't know.
Chuck, Shane is asking if the small binding post will take 100 watts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've put over 300 watts. I put like
Goodness.
300 into mine before, temporarily. It didn't last very long. That was 100 watt. That's our 100 watt Apollo, and it would take 200 for quite a while. I was rack chewing on that for a little bit, or making contacts.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll take 100 easy. And then, kind of what Shane had there. This is my version of the. This is a doublet, basically.
Okay.
Same thing as a speaker wire antenna, which is really all that is a doublet. The speaker wire antenna. I just wanted to use a little bit better wire because I had some speaker wire, and the clear stuff like you had, Shane, and when I stripped them, they just wanted to ravel up.
Yeah.
It was old wire, so I went with this is the same stuff we put on our kits. It's the silicone stuff.
Okay.
I did this one before I ever did any videos. I took this up to Mount Pacifico on HRCC's soda thing that he did out there. That was actually my first soda, and I'd say out of 7 or 8 guys, at least 4 or 5 of them did all their contacts on that one because it works.
Nice.
It works great
Wow.
with a KX2 or something that has a good tuner. So that's something you got to look at too. I mean, that's the most simple antenna you can make because that's everything right there. There's no coax, no nothing, but you got to have a radio that has a decent tuner, or you cut it for the band. But then that kind of defeats the purpose because that'll do 80 to 10 or 6, probably to 6 actually. I don't know for sure because my KX2 will not do 6, that was the only band I wish they had put on it. I'd rather have that than 80, tell you the truth. Well, maybe not, but with it. So what are you guys? I mean, Don, what do you take for your POTA stuff? What are you using for an antenna?
Everything.
Everything.
What doesn't he take?
Oh,
I have a bag.
Go ahead.
Well, you know something. So I started off with the Eagle One, and which
I
was
thought you were using
incredible.
this still.
No, I actually I took it apart, and I wanted to do something different with it, and and it didn't quite do what I wanted to do. But for me, it was still more of a great learning experience with understanding it. And now 40 meters has now changed compared to what it was 3, 4, 5 years, just because of where we are now in this new solar cycle. So right now I'm using a TN07 NFED half wave and NI4L NFED half wave. Soda Beams has their I have a inverted V linked dipole for 20 and 40. And the only thing I don't like is stopping what I'm doing and going and dropping it down a little bit and changing out and just changing bands. I'm fat and lazy. I don't want to do that. I want to stay under the umbrella, at the pavilion, on the picnic bench, on the tailgate. And I just want to just change bands. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. But that inverted V, to me, is an incredible antenna design. I've had awesome luck from 20 watts to 80, 90 watts with that.
Right. I mean, for most of the stuff you do, a dipole is probably one of your best antennas, unless you're, for portable stuff.
Yeah, what's the purpose, right? I think that's something. I think we have to. Yes, what's the purpose? If you're talking about going out for an hour to maybe 3 hours, I mean, who's going to get elaborate? We're here to have fun, man. I'm here. I'm here to get on the radio as fast and safely as I can.
Well, I do that sometimes.
Well, no, but yes, do I carry a lot? Yes, I carry a lot because that's just who I am. Emergency knows no holiday guy. That's who I will always be. And there's always tools. There's extra connectors. There's extra feed line. There's 4 or 5 different antennas. There's 4 or 5. There's 2 or 3 different mounts. But that's just me. That's just me. That's just Don being Don, and I will always be that way. And no matter what I do.
Yeah. How about Joe? What are you using these days?
For portable or home?
For portable work, maybe.
Portable, I've got 3 options. KM4ACK, in-fed, K6ARK, in-fed, or the Buddy Stick Pro. That's my inventory.
Joe brings up a good point because I forgot about those 2 antennas. 2 different antennas. That K6 ARK antenna I have for a low power, what I use with the ICOM 705, has really, Adam, hats off. That is an incredible antenna no matter where we are in the solar cycle. That antenna, I don't know what the black magic is with that antenna. Right, Joe? There's something about that antenna that is...
Yeah, works good. Like, the video when I built it.
It's the schnizzle, as they say.
I didn't have it very high off the ground, maybe 5-6 feet off the ground, stretched out, and I was making DX contacts and stuff on it.
I popped mine.
Joe, did you get one of these yet?
Antennas?
No,
You need to get you a Tri-Lam from our buddy Mike.
Yeah. Is he officially for sale yet?
Yep. They're on his website. But support the end of that tuned radial for that Buddy Stick.
I thought maybe you would just print me one.
That Buddy...
I don't want to take away from Mike, but...
Mike said, he's still waiting on parts, so it's his fault.
But that Buddy Stick, or that Buddy Pole Stick Pro that I have, there are so many variations that you can do with it. So many you can add this, you can add that. It's a fun antenna to really play with. The only thing that I have found that at least what I need in my area is I think you really got to be away from. It works really great for me when I bring it down to the beach. One of our state parks, it's basically open land. I think once you start incorporating a house, a fence, the tree, and that's like that with any antenna. Any antenna like that I don't care if it's an M-Pass. I don't care, if it's a ham stick sitting on some mag mount on a tri-mag mount, and you bring your car over into the backyard, whatever. You keep objects away from these antennas, these vertical antennas like that. They're going to start playing real nice for you. And I think that's where some guys forget about that, including me, because I've seen a world of difference when there's nothing around it, at least by 40, 50 feet in all directions,
Yeah. So what are you using, Steve?
So I've got just a litany of antennas. I've got the Eagle One that I use.
Litany? Let me Google that.
What, Joe? Joe, please bring that up. I got to figure, because how can we crowbar that word in tonight and tomorrow when I go to work tomorrow?
The Eagle One is a good antenna depending on where I'm at or which vehicle I'm in. I've got the MFJ Big Ears, which is the 2 17-foot whips with a coil. The Wolf River coil is another fun one. The Buddy Stick Pro. 2 or 3 different infeds, including the coffee and ham radios infed. And let's see, the ATOS 120. If I'm just doing a quick drive in, activate, and get out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, don't forget the ham stick. I know Ape
I was
hates
just
them,
gonna
but,
say,
is
is there anybody playing with the sticks in a horizontal? Because I bought this from MPass, the box where I can put two.
So
I was doing it the poor man's way. It works, but that MPass, man.
I will
I'm gonna-
say my club actually did a 20-meter hamstick Yagi for
Mhm.
field day.
Hmm.
And they said it was just crazy.
On
Interesting.
what was that on?
They had it on a painter's pole.
Oh,
It
okay.
was like a 20-foot painter's pole.
I put up
and-
my Yagis before at 10, 20 feet, and
Mhm.
they work. I mean, shooting right into my house half the time.
Um,
My wife's hair dryer doesn't like that one though. But,
well, so Shane used my.
So you got a new hair dryer. That's the solution.
yeah,
Is that the 6 meters that messes with the hair dryer?
it was the 2, I think, actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow! Oh,
What
2
happened?
meters.
It
2
was-
meters messes with a lot of things. My
was it-
wife's
was it-
swim pool. She's got one of those hot tubs at the swim pool.
But what does it do, Chuck? Does it turn it off?
Turns it
Does
on and off.
Speed it up.
Turns it on and off.
Yeah, I had
I'm
the.
afraid it's going to burn something up though, so I don't keep it down low anymore.
I was operating 6 meters one time, and in the old house, the girls come running out of the house about crying. The little transformer in the plug-in and the
Mhm.
GFCI, I guess.
Make a lot of noise.
Yeah, it started buzzing, and they thought it was something coming to get them.
Yeah, I know, Shane. Yeah, you got a lot of portable stuff you use. You're an infed half wave guy for one, right?
Yeah. There's no wrong way to do portable, but if I have a choice, I like to go backpack. There's a lot of hiking trails and stuff in my
Mhm.
area, so I keep it light, keep it simple for the most part. For the longest time, this was my only antenna. I just made that, and if you look at my portal logs, you see there's a lot of 20-meter contacts because I just had the 20-meter speaker wire dipole. But
Mhm.
yeah, my preference is the infed halfways because they're so lightweight, compact. That could be multi-banded. Like the link, the one I'm using a lot lately is the linked infed from Pac-10, which is 40, 20, 15, and 10. And you can hang that whole length over a tree limb in a vertical V, or you can.
Careful.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah,
But
we sell probably 4 or 5 to 1 of the
Mhm.
infed halfways over the link dipole. The link
Yeah.
dipole is a better antenna,
yeah,
but I think
Oh.
the reason we do that because people,
it's
like
a little-
Don said, I don't want to
Yeah.
get
It's
out
lazy.
there and move it.
It's
Well,
it's
yeah.
pure laziness, and
Yeah.
that's being stubborn. It's a better antenna, but yet we're
Well,
being stubborn.
It is laziness, but it's also more efficient for me because if I'm on a hike and I'm going to be doing QRP, I don't have a lot of time. I've been stealing Mike KMRD's trick of bringing a collapsing pole with me and then just
Mhm.
leaning that pole up against a tree and laying it
Yeah, I've
out.
been doing that for a long time.
Yep.
That's what I did at Mount Pacifico.
Yep.
I taped it to it so it would be higher to
Yep.
a little tree.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
I've
that
done
worked
that
great.
too. With the
Do
little
you guys
nudges
do you
with-
guys remember when Mike K8 MRD just said regarding the telescoping pole, just lean it into something, lean it into the
Yep.
fence, lean it
Mhm.
into a
Yep.
tree. I'm
They
like,
fall
oh my,
sometimes.
yeah.
it's-
But guess what?
Yeah.
Guess what you do? You just lean it back up.
Right.
Yes. Okay, yes, he does.
But,
Yes, you're up. But incredible. Mike had a great idea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know,
But to Chuck's point, oh,
you know.
sorry, but to Chuck's
Go
point, yeah, the dipole will give you better performance, but it takes up more space. It takes up more of my time to set it up and everything. And if I'm in a hurry, the infant halfway works fine.
Mhm.
But to Steve's point, this winter, about a month ago, I got a ATOS 120, and wow, I wish I got that a long time ago because in the winter, I'll stick to the parking lots, and I've gotten out sub-zero temperatures, and the only bad part is setting up the antenna and taking it down, and
Right.
sometimes you gotta do it in steps and come back in and warm your hands up a little bit. Well, if that ATOS is just I put that on before I leave the house, and I work 6 through 10 or excuse me, 6 through 40 without anything.
You got to be careful with those really thin, super lightweight winders. They just snap when it gets cold.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did one up then on a Big Hill, and it's like, oh, this thing was no good. That's why we didn't put too many holes in our stuff to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's light enough as it is. Might as well make it strong.
And the collapsing mast can ice up and get stuck,
or if it rains, they just fall down. If you don't have to, you actually better to put some tension on them so they don't fall down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I found.
Mm-hmm.
So,
one time I had to strap the mast to the roof rack of my Jeep because I couldn't get it all the way down without breaking it because it froze up, but it worked.
So, another thing is what we're talking about too is buying kits, and the advantage to buying kits. I don't know if you guys have been on Amazon, but when you buy BNCs, you got to buy 6 of them, and you don't need 6, right? Or whatever. You got to buy 20 of the capacitors for an infed half wave. So the advantage to buying a kit is you're getting all the parts. Somebody's getting them for you. That's what we like people to build their own stuff. I mean, we could make them and sell them too. I think they sell even better if you make them and sell them. But I don't have any little kids that I can wind all those little winders, all those toroids and stuff, And I already do enough winding. I mean, I go through thousands of feet of wire to get our kits ready, so I don't want to be doing that too. But so you have like the car antennas, you got KM4 ACK. If you're a QRP guy, the QRP guys stuff is kind of nice. It comes on its own little winders and stuff. So so that's always an option, and you always have the option to buy, like you said, Pactena. George is a really cool dude. We've had him on our show a few times, and they make a nice product. And I think you have to buy extra parts sometimes, but to get everything. But he's got a nice winder. I think of all the winders, his and ours is very similar, except for what it's made out of. Just the way they set up and everything. But so that's your other thing. But you also, so what we didn't talk about is verticals. And again, these, you can do a vertical with these, right? Drop that thing to the ground, put your radials off the one side. Oh, I will say something. When you guys check these things, I've had them come with the red and the black on the wrong sides.
Really?
Oh yeah. So check them. The center should be the red, right?
Yeah, correct.
And
I've
gotten them reversed before. I've gotten them reversed, so you should check them. But you can do the same. You can make your own little. Tell you the truth, you can make your own semi DX commander out of one if you wanted to. If you had ways of, I'll tell you what to do is you take a piece of PVC at the top and put how many holes you want and put them about 5 or 6 inches apart, and then pull them up, and it'll work. I've done it. And that's probably easier than a DX commander for a day trip, going out for a few hours or something like that. I love the DX commander, but for setting up for a day trip, I don't want to do it. I'd rather set up my Moxon and have some more gain.
There it is.
I can do my Moxon. I was waiting. You guys are waiting for that one, huh? That's supposed to come in later. But to tell you the truth, I'd rather I'd set that up in 15 or 20 minutes for one band. And now, well, we'll talk about that one a little bit later. But the vertical is a great way to go. You just have to have your ground radials, right? And again, you watch Cal's stuff on ground radios. You can do tuned ones if you want to. You can raise it, whatever you want to do. But they need to be tuned if you raise them, right? But laying them on the ground super easy. I think you do. But if you guys know the ham jazz, Simon.
Woohoo!
Oh my God, that guy! I mean, he's north of me, but on 20 meters, he's actually kind of close, maybe for 20 with me. But he's like blowing my radio up every time, and he does the raised radios and the raised vertical. And another easy way to make a vertical, you can buy the MFJ 17-foot whip. Buy a stick. You guys watch my video on building the stick. You get a mirror mount for CB. And I mean, don't play around with the little bitty small. unless you got really hard ground, you can pound in those little nails for like 10 stakes. They don't work. I mean, they work, but they'll I'm not strong enough.
See, most of my parks around here, I can't put anything in the ground
See, that's the other
because
thing. Yeah.
they're historical locations, or they still have active archaeological digs going on.
So
or-
buy a speaker tripod.
You might
and right
have
off of that.
ordnance in the area that they don't know about.
Oh, right. You don't want to be pounding stuff into the ground. Are you in the Civil War area?
I am.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew a
Fort
guy.
Sumter and Fort Moultrie are right around the corner from me.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to be pounding too much stuff on the ground there.
That would be a bad day.
It would be.
It would be
You
a
might not
very bad
remember
day.
it though.
Right.
But I tell you what, if you don't care about 40, even if you do want 40, you can add a clip at the end of that 17-foot whip and just put it up higher if you can throw it in a tree or something. But for 20 and higher, you can get all those bands on that one little whip. You just have to adjust it. What I did one day is adjusted mine to my house, so it's not perfect everywhere you go. And I just took a magic or a permanent marker and marked them,
Okay.
and it gets me close, and then I can adjust from there. To tell you the truth, if I want something really fast, that is what I kind of throw. That's 5 minutes to set that thing up. It takes me longer to find the radios than it does to set the whole antenna up sometimes.
Right.
We talked a little bit about doublets and fan dipoles. Now, the speaker wire antenna basically is a doublet, and you can do that with if you don't care about your when's it being released. Well, the third version might get released because it's like a 10-minute setup
Oh wow.
Nice.
total
There you
time.
go.
But
Version 3.
I haven't finished version 3 yet. I'm working on 2. I can't. It's been raining so much here. I can't even set up the one I've got totally finished. I mean,
6 through 40
I set up
or-
once. Oh yeah,
Oh wow.
maybe 15. Probably less than 15 minutes. But it's going to be a little more work. I've got it worked out already, but just need to have time this summer before when it starts getting sunny again. I still haven't done the video on version 2 yet, so the version 2 is pretty set up. I know Jason, he saw my other one where the wires didn't come up just right. Everything's perfect this time.
What do you want to accomplish going from a 2 to version 2 to version 3? What do you want to improve
I might
or
sell
maybe
it.
modify?
I might sell version 3.
Okay. No, but
Really?
as far as design wise, or is it a material wise? What was your goal to go from 2 to 3? Why?
Half hour to 10 minutes setup time.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
I mean, half hour. And Jason's probably set his up enough. He can probably set it up in half hour or less, 20 minutes maybe.
Mhm.
I think I can set mine up in about 20 after I do it a few more times. But
That's also nothing bothering you too.
Right,
You know
right.
what we're saying when we
not
say
stopping for a beer or nothing like that.
right,
Mhm.
right.
30
Yeah.
minutes is easy, fairly easy. But yeah, it's some ciphering on that one. That's a lot of work. Even if you have all this stuff, all the measurements and all that stuff, it's still a lot of work.
And wrapped up properly from the last time you did it, and
Yeah. And that one will have to be put away well.
Mhm.
That's all I'm going to say about it for now. But I've got it set up to where I think you can do it in 10 minutes. I haven't built one yet though, so I don't know. I might be
Chuck,
blowing smoke right now.
I might need to get a prototype and test that theory.
Yeah. Are you slow at putting things together? So if you can do it
Yeah.
in 10, anybody can.
Have you seen my videos?
No,
You do videos?
Thank you.
it'll take too long to come out.
Yeah.
Chuck is the
actually,
master.
On my
Chuck
list,
is the
Steve, I'm sorry, man, but you keep moving down the list. Yeah,
No.
you're the
videos up.
master, Chuck. You are the master of
Not-
insulting somebody, but never really saying I insulted you. You just kind of say it's like saying bless your heart.
Well, no, he put a few out there for a while, and
I
don't
put
know,
one
when's
out
the last-
yesterday.
Oh,
Yesterday,
okay.
as a
Well,
matter of fact.
I'm telling you, man, when you don't put them out, YouTube drops you on the
Oh,
list.
I know.
And I have to look, and sometimes it's like, what
I was actually part of the playlist yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Actually,
So,
I had grandkids over, so I couldn't watch.
I missed the whole
Even if I
playlist
tried to
myself.
watch, I couldn't watch.
but
But yeah, so now fan dipoles, there's different ways of making those, and I think the easiest way is to set it up like in a teepee. you have to have, it takes a little more stuff because you have to have guidelines for everything, but those can be your guidelines.
Okay.
And the nice thing about a fan dipole, now you're back to like infed half wave. You don't have to switch bands or nothing like you do on a link dipole. We may come out with a link dipole that you don't have to do that.
What about a trap
Ape and I have been
dipole?
talking about. That's what we've been talking about that.
Okay.
But we decided to do the other one first because it's easy. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say that that's a complicated antenna because when you cut 20, it's not anywhere near, and the 20 is like the worst band of that thing. But I give you all the measurements for that on ours to do it with our wire.
So without getting anybody in trouble at Coffee and Ham Radio, when you guys do your thinking, who do you like thinking with? Ape, T.O., Jim?
It depends on what we're doing. It really does because each guy has his specialties. You know,
I'm gonna guess is T.O. is best at marketing. What's his expertise? Do you
He's
think?
the hand model. He the hands.
he's a hand model. Haven't you seen his videos?
Yeah, right. Okay, so he's marketing. Where's Ape? Research and design.
Ape's the boss. Ape's the boss.
Ape's
you have
the
to put
boss.
everything. Everything has to go through Ape.
And Jim is the guy who gets the bottle of water for the boss. Gets some coffee. Cleans out the
Jim,
trash.
I tell you what, Jim was a great addition to the program.
Oh, absolutely. And I say that just
he's super stable with his he's got our website going. And it's
you need
it's
guys
just
to
the
do that. That's
beginning.
right. It's called teamwork. No,
and
seriously, I kid, but it's all
That's
about
something I
teamwork.
can't do. I'm good at
Right.
building stuff, but I could if I could build out a wire and plastic or something, I could build a website, but it has to be done on a computer.
Listen, hey Chuck, I'm sure you've seen this many times. You go to field day. Some guys like to build the field day station.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys like to mentor the youngins or as the veterans for remedial training. This is how we do. This is what we did. And then some guys don't even operate. They just come there. They did the building. Now they just want to sit back, and then when it's all over, they'll put field day away. They'll put everything away. It's really about a teamwork, and that's how I see it with Coffee and Ham Radios. Again, we joke with you guys. We love you guys, and again, we're brothers, so we can give it back and forth to each other. Hey, it's the same here on Clubhouse. We all have our little roles that we do, and it just comes together. And it's not about egos. It's no one's head is bigger than the other as far as walking into a door. I mean, let's face it. I mean, I know Joe Brett is probably maybe the handsome guy, or maybe Shane. It's not me. I don't care.
Joe gets a double one. It's the looks and the voice. You know,
it is. He is. We can almost call him Mr. Hollywood.
I can't even say my own call sign anymore because everybody's done about perfected it. 5YVY.
So I went into my wife was up. She went up last night with the grandkids and back to my daughter's house. And I was up at Panda Express last night, and the guy goes, "Oh, come over here. I'll get you at this checkout out." And he says something to me. I answer him, and the gal goes, "Can I just say, you have an awesome voice. You should do radio or something." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." Okay.
I kind of do.
So I was kind of embarrassed, and I was like, "Well,
that's why you won't see me on the Oscars."
Yeah, I was glad she didn't say you have a face for radio, because she didn't go that far. But, she might have been thinking
heart.
that. So, yeah. So the fan dipole was the first. To tell you the truth, that's the first, not the easiest antenna to build, but one of the first antennas I ever built. Other than I did that ground plane one that Ape did here recently.
Chuck, are you like me? Do you take, and Cal has said this 1,000 times, listen, take my antenna, modify it to your needs. Go for it, please. I'm giving you parts. And I've always thought of, how do you do something potentially different? I know Rob did N1 NUG 740 run a couple years ago. Rob did the upper section of attaching the quarter waves. But I mean, I think one of many of Cal's, not only were the plates, but to me, it was the shock cord. Because again, your radios are all at different lengths. You need to figure out how you're going to hang them without having any type of interference going on. But I always think of how can you, on we'll call it a poor man's special.
Well, for me, it's like antennas are antennas. I mean, infrared halfway is an infrared halfway. It doesn't matter if Adam designs it, I design it, Steve makes his own. It's how you make it more than, I mean, the basic antenna is the same. It doesn't matter who does it or who invents it. You're not inventing anything. I had a guy tell me, I did my little 2-meter antenna. He goes, well, you know, Arrow and who's the other company? Elk. They've been using arrows forever. I go, yeah. Where in my video did I say I invented this stuff? I just did a different antenna using the same parts. You know, it was somebody else's antenna. I just made it out of something different.
All right.
I mean, antenna designs haven't changed in years. I mean, there might be some new stuff here and there. You would think that after all these years, something would be better, but the guys that did the original stuff did it right. You know?
Well, look at I remember one day walking into my grandfather's house. I think I had just gotten my license, and I was my driver's license. I wasn't hand licensed, but I was still looking at antennas and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm like, Grandpa, look at this. Look at this thing. It's called a Halo. This thing is, look at this antenna. And Kurt and Sturba, even because I was a big Kurt and Sturba guy reading all this stuff. I'm like, even Kurt and Sturba. So I'm thinking here, I'm going to score some points with the old man. He's like, shit, hold my beer. He says, we were doing that stuff. We would go down to the local garage with muffler pipe and have him bend it. And that's how we made our Halos for 2 meters and for 6 meters. It's not, but now it's coming around. Yeah, exactly. Because you already have that tubing. You know, just rip out the webbing, because like with me, my fat ass has probably ruined the webbing anyway. You know, from laughing too hard.
I had one sitting on the side of my house, and somebody stole the damn thing. And that's what it was going to be. It was going to be like a
why do guys
Halo?
Well, why do guys steal it? They either want to make an antenna, they're gonna re-web it, or they want it for the scrap and sell it. It's
probably scrapping it.
Scrapping it.
Shoot, when I came home from a Silent Key's house one time, his wife was still a ham, but she didn't want to do it anymore, and they just kept throwing stuff. I looked like a scrap guy going to the aluminum scrap yard. They just kept throwing stuff on my car. It's like, I don't have that much money. We don't care. Just take it.
You're like Sanford and Son.
Yeah. So
all those treasures.
So once you build this kind of stuff that's, I mean, stuff for me that's easy may not be easy for somebody else, or but. And the guys tell me that sometimes. Well, just because it's easy for you, Chuck, doesn't mean it's easy for. So I like to try to explain things, and I like to make it as simple as possible. Once you build some of these things, get into a Moxon. A Moxon is to tell you the truth, is one of the coolest antennas you can build. As far as it's got the same gain basically as a hex beam. The hex beam gives you that easier to do extra bands, but you can do a Moxon. You can do multiple. You can do three elements if you want to. I've never seen anybody do that on a hex beam.
You know something? That's right.
You can do 4 elements, and you can do multiple bands. I haven't tried that. I have for my 20-meter Moxman, I've got 15 and 10 cut for it, I think, and I just haven't had the time to hook them up and see if it works.
And Chuck has got a good point of people saying, well, I don't know how to do that, or do you do that better? Well, give it a go. Give it a try. You know, a saying I always like to say that everybody in this room at one point in their life couldn't work a spoon, but here we are now eating ourselves.
Still using chopsticks.
Yeah.
But, no, all right. No. Yes or no. You make a good point, because I thought the same thing. Because if guys have certain stuff in their garage or down in the basement, the drill, the lay-in, and all this other stuff, I learned. Saying myself and Chuck, I say it's very sincere. You and Mike and so many other people. Adam, I can't do all of it, but I'm like, wait a minute. I have the workbench. I got the vice grip. The vice grip is something, and a regular vice and a few tools. And if you're getting old like me, maybe the magnifying light or something.
Right. But if you look at the antenna kits, the Coffee and Ham kits, Jason's kits, Adam's, they're not that expensive, folks. If you're intimidated by them, buy 2.
That's right. Good point.
And when you go out there and you start buying all the parts, you'll spend as much money
or more.
You'll have extra parts left over. Yeah. But you'll spend the same amount of money.
And you're getting a sticker. If nothing else, you're getting a great sticker for the battery pack or some.
Yeah, these kits are expensive. Buy a couple of them.
I
if
buy
you're
it for the sticker.
successful on the first one, well, then now you got a backup one.
Right.
And there's also little kits you can buy on eBay for like $5 that are just.
There's antennas out there
yeah.
that are $500 that you could buy a Yagi for that kind of money. I mean,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The markup. Yeah.
a really nice Yagi. I mean,
yeah.
if
you're intimidated by those kits, just buy 2 of them. I guarantee you, you have the second one working.
And you know, the hardest thing on our kits is the winding of the magnet wire, and you just buy a spool of magnet wire if you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've sent some out before because guys just messed them up. And
magnet wires.
Cheap. What I don't like is that someone got, well, your wire was too short. I'm like, I've wrapped a bunch of those with that amount of wire. It's not too short, you know.
You gotta get up early in the morning to fold Chuck or try to get one on Chuck.
Oh, it's like when I used to be a
You've
carpenter
done enough times.
And my cabinet guy, I go, hey, you messed up my cabinets. They're not spaced right. He goes, you made your window smaller. I go, yeah, but my sink is centered. But my sink is still centered on your on the window.
Right.
Oh. Right. He thought he was gonna. He'd tell that to most people, and they say, "Oh yeah, I think you're right." I'm like, no. I go, it would look worse if I put the bigger window in because I'd have like an inch on one side and 3 inches on the other. You messed it up, dude. That's about as far as I went, though. But once you build some of this stuff, try a Moxon. I mean, it's super easy. And you know what? And I would do it again. I would do. You guys know Colin for M0. I can't remember MCX or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
over in Scotland.
Yeah,
the way he did it's pretty cool. He used and I always looked for you guys when I built a 11 meter one back when I was doing CB. And the way I built it, I had these. You ever see the garden stakes the fiberglass green garden stakes? You can put stuff. They're like 3/4 inch.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I drilled holes in those and ran the little small, driveway markers in them. Why didn't I just use some tent posts, some tent poles? Been so much easier. But that's what I found out on my hex beam. I used the fishing poles, and when you use the fishing poles and everything slides inside of itself, you have to put all those things that hold your wires at different lengths on every time. So I scrapped that after the first time I set it up when I was down in Arizona. So I don't know.
Your Moxon, do you have a preference for your Moxon? Do you prefer a 6 meter or a 2 meter or a 10 meter? Any preference?
I've made two. I've made 2, 11, 6, and 20. Mm-hmm. And just to me, I mean, even if you do a single band, if you wanted to change bands, it would be just the matter of unhooking the wires and hook them up. If you just put them all on there, for me right now, I do 10 and 20. Mm-hmm. And with 10 the way it is now, I mean, you'll kill it with a Moxon. I've used my Moxon on 20 up on that big hill, and we went up there and was it 10 watts got into France.
Wow, there you go.
It only like 10 feet in the air. It wasn't even hot.
That's the other thing too. I don't think if you or somebody in the chat wants to correct me, I don't think you want to go past 20 feet, 25 feet for a mast. You don't need to.
I've got a 25 footer. It's a flagpole. And the one that Chameleon sells right now is pretty nice. I've seen that one up close. It's a lot of money, but I mean, I saw the guy that actually makes it for them, or I think they drop ship it, and he sells it for a little bit more than they sell it for. So that was one of the things that they do sell that's pretty reasonably priced. I mean,
but do you see my point? Have you ever gone up to 40? Have you ever put up like 40 feet and see a difference? No. Yeah,
not with any kind of a beam antenna. No.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But still though, that Moxon, that's my whole point. Easy setup, easy takedown.
But
it's not.
Did you guys do 6 meter at all or try?
Yes.
So
I have done it, just not lately.
Yeah. One of these days I'm going to take my little 6 meter hex beam out when I'm going to try and hopefully hit a day that it's opened up and just see what I can do from a hill someplace. Mm-hmm. Even behind I hit it one day. I was home on it, and then I've got it's not a ATAS, but it's a different screwdriver antenna, and I actually got the same guy who I knew up in Washington off from my truck driving around, and that was kind of cool. I was vertical there versus horizontal. That halo that you're talking about, if you're a 6 meter, you're going to drive around a lot. That's when my buddy, he's a big 6 meter guy. That's what he uses for 6 meter in his vehicle. It's a halo.
It
Because
was
that's
amazing.
horizontal.
It's horizontal. I was just going to say it's horizontal.
And but it's not directional either. So that's kind of a good thing sometimes.
Correct. Right. What I don't do, like for instance, one of the last ham fests I attended, I picked up I think it's a Cushcraft 6 element, 6 meter, 3 element, 4 element. It's sitting up in the rafters in the garage. It's going to come down in like May, June, and I'm just going to leave it up.
Yeah.
That's the point. You got to leave those antennas up. So when all of a sudden you hear 6 is open, like for instance, I'm
you
on
can't
DX,
put it together.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm on DX Heat right now, and I'm watching band activity and solar activity and magnetic. And right now, 6 is showing open to South America a little bit. And so you want to have you have to treat it literally like a light switch. It's like a light switch. A lot of guys say, and you got to be able to
you
go
could
right
be talking to a guy and he's just gone.
Gone, literally.
I was talking to my buddies on 40, the guys in San Diego that I talk to all the time. They're like, we're S9 back and forth with 100 watts. All of a sudden, they were like, we had a solar flare and they were gone.
Oh,
just totally, guys, like, whoa, that's kind of like 6 meters,
We all got involved here in Connecticut because a lot of the public safety equipment from low band was being thrown into dumpsters. So we just literally picked it up dirt cheap at the flea markets, installed them into our vehicles, threw a whip on it, and it was amazing what 100 watts. We were all sitting on 52.525 initially, and then we come off it, and a lot of this stuff was either crystal, but once you got a real ham radio with the HF, a full HF/6, you really start to play around, and so then you get off FM, and now you're playing on sideband. And now you're starting to hear. Now you understand what all these guys are talking about, of how it's really like a jewel. That's right, Mo. Mo was one of them. Mo, myself, and about 10 or 12 other guys around here. We were literally, if you couldn't find us on 2 meters, you'd find us on 6.
Up and down the shoreline of Connecticut.
Up and down the shoreline. Mo, I won't mention the one guy who used to be up in the hill, up in the cemetery. We'll just leave it at that.
Sorry, my wife just got home, so my dogs are going crazy. So
Fine, we both have a dog too.
Scout, is there any 6 meter? Is there any a 6 meter stuff in your neighborhood?
It's funny you bring that up. I got a little bit of shame last night about that.
What happened?
Well, just like you, somebody gifted me a 4 element Crushcraft 6 meter beam, and just like you, it's been sitting in my garage since the day he gave it to me.
I challenge you. You and I are on the. We're
all right.
Get it up. We got to get it up.
We got to get it up, and we got to make a 6 meter contact with each other.
Oh my God! Imagine if we could do that.
Oh, we should be able to do that.
I don't know.
How far apart are you guys?
2,000 miles, maybe.
How many?
No.
2,000, 1,800.
You're probably 2,000 for me.
Yeah. We're still in the United States here. Yeah.
Okay, well,
it's like 2,600 miles.
Yeah, 9s are still in the U.S., man.
Yeah.
All right,
it's not a 0.
Oh, yeah. I'm right in the halfway point. I could probably relay between Chuck and Izzo.
So my buddy lives in Indianapolis area. He talks every day on 6 meters into Texas, Florida, every day, and that's phone. Not we're not talking FT8. Now, when you hear guys, oh yeah, I was on a SO the other day, and I got Paris, and I got France, and all, and I got Italy, and all that stuff. Like, oh, on phone? Oh no, I was doing CW. I'm like, oh okay, that's cool. I wish I could do that, but when you start talking phone, that's a little different story to me.
But it's funny because just last night I was on a 2 meter net, and the gentleman that gifted me that antenna goes, "Hey Shane, how's that 6 meter beam working for you?" Man. And I'm like, "I'll get up the spring, I promise."
That's what's cool about my little 6 meter hex beam. It just hangs on my fence most of the time, and it's ready to go all the time. It doesn't. It's just a little bit too. It would actually be better as a Moxon because it would probably fit in my pickup better. But what I do is I just take 2 of the arms off, and it fits in the tail the truck back there, and I just leave it all hooked up, and then I just press it. I just stretch it a little bit, you know. That one's totally flat. That just I used the driveway markers for that. Just the orange driveway markers you can get. Works perfect, and you buy the
Hey, Scout.
wires.
Yes, sir.
We're about 1,100 as the crow flies. We're about 1,100 miles.
That makes that's.
But
You
I
might
think, however, go ahead.
You
go ahead.
guys might
Your
not do that every day.
No.
But
Right. No.
you probably could, but you'd have to upgrade your systems.
Yeah.
Yes.
When
However,
the conditions are right, we probably could.
Well, yeah, when
Correct.
they're right, when it's open,
Yeah.
you can do it easy. I get into Tennessee when it's good from California.
because I'm thinking if Steve
100
had
watts.
6 meters going over the water, I think I'd have probably better, more frequency, more times that we would.
I wonder
probably
how the
have.
guys like
I
in
have
Vermont.
6.
Who's on the coast? Any you guys on the coast?
Yeah.
You guys ever do 6 across the pond?
No.
I haven't tried 6. I've got it, but I haven't tried it.
I got the antenna and I haven't tried it, so maybe that's why. No, sir. I mean, that's
Well, you know, guys, Gordo
I got the
does
feed line, I
2
got the
meter
mast, I
into
got it all.
Hawaii. 2 meter into Hawaii. It's a tropical. What do you call it? The isotropical.
Ducting.
Yeah.
Ducting, yeah.
In fact, I need to try that because, well, my problem is that direction. I shoot right into a hill. Unfortunately, I don't have the best location for 2 meters. I mean, repeaters and stuff are easy, but not for real. I mean, I have one direction that's really good, and I go into Fresno. Fresno's almost 200 miles, and I can do that most days. 6 meter is actually better. And my 6 meter is actually good on 6 and 2, if I remember right. It'll do both for some reason.
So, Chuck, do you do much 2 meter single sideband?
Yeah, if I go on a soda, like when we go to the place called Big Hill, I'll usually do my HF, and then I'll put up my my 5 element 2 meter. And I was talking to some guy one day, and he wasn't super far away, but probably 100 miles. And he goes, "Yeah, you're 40 over." I'm like, "Oh, hey, let me put it down to 5 watts." He goes, "Now you're only 20 over."
Yeah.
Good.
You know, but it was height is might type thing. I
Yeah.
was at 6,000 feet.
Yeah,
in the valley.
Okay.
That's another spring project for me. Is I got a beam 2 meter. I think it's a crush calf,
Mhm.
and it has the horizontal oriented in the
Oh, I've
for-
got that one. It's like
for-
10
yep.
or 11, 10
Yeah,
or 11 elements.
Yep. So I'm gonna get that put on my
So-
roof of a rotor, and then be able to hit some repeaters farther away. But I really want to get into the single sideband. That really interests me.
So if you go out, like I was out Portable one day, and I was talking. You guys know Derek, the 2 meter crew? He's local to me, but
No, I don't think so.
he does 2 meter all the time, and he takes out basically a 10 element. And so I was talking to him one day, and we weren't very far apart. And I had that 11, the same one you're talking about, but I only had half the elements on.
Sure.
And I was using it for sideband. And I go, "Well, I'm only using 5 watts right now, Derek." And out of the background, all of a sudden I hear this guy go, and I know the voice because it's Mike from M Squared Antennas. He goes, "I can hear your 5 watts in Fresno, but I'm up, 2,000 feet."
Sure.
I go, "Oh, really?" And then what he told me, he goes, "Turn that thing instead of flat or vertical." He says, "Turn it at a 45." He goes, "You only lose a little bit on each, but it'll work both of them pretty well that way." So if you're out and you're doing it portable or something, try that.
Sure.
Because when you go from vertical to horizontal, because most guys are horizontal for 2 meter sideband,
Right.
it drops your signal quite a bit. But he says if you turn it, it's about half if you turn it at a 45. So I'll try that sometime.
Sure.
It's a lot less to set up.
Yeah, I try because I got the Arrow portable one, so I'll definitely.
Is that
be
3 elements for 2?
Yep.
Yeah, the one I built is I actually rebuilt the thing, and I need to do a new video because I did it on a square tubing. And it's way more accurate than it was the first couple of times. Trying to drill straight across a tubing, and that's 5 elements, and 8 feet. It's got pretty good game. That thing. I was trying to talk on 70 centimeter one day, and I'm like, why isn't this working that good? And I'm like totally brain fried, you know, because it's for 2 meters, not for 70. Later on the day, later on, I go, oh shoot, I know why that wasn't work. Because I'm like, man, I should be killing to this guy. We're not that far away, and he was like super loud on 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking I have my elk with me because the elk is both.
Right.
It's kind of dumb.
You
just kind of feel stupid later, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could still work. My only satellite.
It worked.
Yeah. My only 2 satellite contacts was me transmitting 440 through my 2 meter beam off my tower and listening off a vertical, but SWR was right, so I put it to it.
Oh, was it right? See, I don't know if mine was.
The impedance
I
was
never
probably
checked it.
way wacko, but
yeah. But I made the contact with the guy. I go, hey, do you have 72? He goes, oh, sure. Let me go there. And he goes, meet me here. And I was kind of in and out with him there. And I knew where to point. I'm like, man, something's not right. And then later on, I figured it. Well, yeah, I was using the wrong end. Wasn't using what I was thinking I was using, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a awesome antenna you got, Shane. That thing will. I mean,
oh yeah,
I took it portable. I mean, it'll fold down in was it 3 pieces? The boom. It'll fit in the back of a 6-foot pickup, no problem. With everything on it, and I put it together wrong the first time. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that'd be good for like a field day type thing.
Oh
bring a painter's pole and set that up.
My first field day, I hooked my buddy and I just did it together. We're both new hams. We hadn't been a ham very long at all, and but I've been building antennas already, and I had my 6 meter hex beam. We threw that up first because it was quick and easy.
Mm-hmm.
We were late setting everything else up because we kept making all these contacts. Because on a contest, which was not really a contest supposedly, but everybody's on 6. It's like it's there if people would get on it. It's there. It may not you may not get from California to Tennessee like when it's open, but it's I mean, you can. I've talked to a guy in Benicia every once in a while. We think the band's opening, we'll talk. Sometimes he goes, oh, hey Chuck, how are you doing? You know,
when I turn my HF on, I always start at 6 meters and work
Do you
my way
really?
through the bands. Yeah,
Yeah.
every time.
Okay.
I throw my call sign out a few times just to see.
somebody might be there.
Maybe. I turned it on one day and I sit there and then I was getting my login program and everything up first, and I could hear a faint voice. I said, holy crap, there's somebody on 6. And I was listening. And finally, I copied the call sign, typed it in my logger, and I went back to him, and he heard me too. I was like, all right, something's going to happen. He was only about 3 counties away from me, but
a contact is a contact.
Yeah.
But it was funny because he got excited too, and then we realized,
Yeah.
We're neighbors.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like that. The guy in I was up on I did one of the sodas up north of me here. It's like 6,000 feet, I think, and I was hearing guys talking to Fresno from LA on 2 meters. I couldn't make out anything they were saying because they were. I mean, it was like we're at 45 to each other, right? So they weren't aimed at me, but I could hear them, and that was with my little 5 element.
Chuck, I'm not sure if that's the same video, but one of the things many years ago in one of your videos that you said, if you can get into a low noise environment and turn on your HF radio, it's amazing what you hear.
I almost blew up a speaker in my one of my radios one day. I have my screwdriver antenna, and I always set that up by listening for noise, right? I went from one end, he goes all the way down, and I never changed. So finally, I'm like, well, shoot, I don't know what's going on. So I get my.
It's broken. It's broken.
I thought it wasn't tuning, you know. So I get I have my antenna analyzer out, and I set it up. And the first guy that I call out, and the first guy that hits me, I got the volume like almost full. About blows my radio up. He was so loud.
Wow.
So I learned real quick that you got to remember to turn it
I
down.
went on the web here. I feel bad about this guy who at this Hamfest because so it's the Kushcraft A50. It's only 3 elements. They're selling for about $250. I think I gave him $25. I feel bad now. I mean, he's a silent key now, but nothing I can do about
What was it
But
for?
I guess for 6 meters, he just didn't want to. It was still in the box. It was one of those, you know.
You know,
He didn't
my
want to
buddy-
bring the box home.
my buddy and I have never made contacts, and one of the times when we might have made contact, I was at his house.
Mhm.
He's in Indianapolis. After the end of Dayton, but yeah, he's always like, yeah, you need to get an amp. I'm like, dude, I just don't hear enough. I don't hear enough of it to put money into that kind of. I mean, an amp like that costs as much as a full HF amp sometimes. You know, he's got like 15. He's got 15, at least 1,000 on 6. And that's the
Oh,
reason
please.
he's able to talk to people.
Chuck, just start selling some more of those antennas and coffee mugs to say a coffee and ham radio, and you'll be rolling in the dough. Don't worry about
Yeah. Right. Actually, I don't know. Like I said, I may sell the hex beam. That if I can get it perfected to set up in 10 minutes, I may sell that one.
you ought to do something special on your channel. Or on Coffee and Ham Radios. Do a raffle or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
make somebody happy. But they have to be an enthusiast, not just for the sake of winning. You know.
Right.
You know.
Well, Steve's already said he'll test it for me. So
So there you go.
You're more than
All
happy
right,
to
Scout 75. So like I said, we got to get our antennas up. We
Yep.
shall.
Yeah.
We shall.
yeah, you should. I have 6 meter up all the time.
I
I build
posted- I'm sorry, I posted a link up in the chat, and I'll share it with you guys again. Chuck has a great video on getting it up, and that could probably help you out. So
Does it involve a little blue
Yeah.
pill?
Yeah, you don't even need it.
Blue antenna.
oh look,
Now
there's a link again.
So I built
Yeah.
an LFA. LFAs are the driven unit looks like a Moxon, unitized, and they're supposedly quiet, but 6 meter for me is quiet anyhow. But that's on my tower all the time, so it's five elements, I think. If you guys ever want to build one of those, the guy from the UK that puts all the measurements and everything, and it works. It comes out pretty dang good, I'll tell you. I actually made mine just a little. I changed mine. He uses the little hydraulic clamps. They
Mhm.
only use one in the middle,
Okay.
and I didn't like it because they kind of want to move back and forth.
It moves back. It moves.
So
too
you
much
guys know
play.
me.
Too
I'm
much
like,
play.
well,
Yeah.
I can put a little piece of aluminum plate on there and put 2 of them. So I got 2 on all of mine now. The driven works fine because it has 2,
Mhm.
but all the other ones want to move, and I don't like them they just move too much, and it doesn't help when you drop them the first time you put it up because you're using a homemade push-up pole and you push out the end of it.
Whoop.
You don't
Hey
quite
Chuck,
get it
speaking of
back in there.
polls,
Mhm.
speaking of polls, what do you recommend for pre-made ones, manufacturer ones versus you walking into Home Depot, to Lowe's, to your local hardware store, or the pool skimmer? The neighbor down the street has a nice in-ground pool. You say, "Hey, can I borrow your pole and net, or and you never give it back." I mean, there's a lot of options there, right? I guess that's where I'm going.
Kevin from he's in Utah there. K7
K7CAR. Is
Yeah,
that who you're talking about?
I think so.
Yes.
He got like a window washer's pole that he put some of his stuff on, and they were pretty good.
I'm trying to get him on the show here. Yeah.
If you get Spider Beams makes that 12 meter pole,
Mhm.
I've hooked Yaggies on top of that thing.
Yep.
You just gotta tape it or something so it doesn't come down on you if it gets
Yep,
wet.
that's
That thing's pretty beefy. And then Colin from he said that the 10 meter is even beefier at the bottom.
Is it?
It's a pretty nice. Those are pretty nice poles.
And the 10-meter one is small enough that you can pack with it.
It's still short, yeah.
Yep, it's not the lightest thing. It's no carbon
No,
6.
it's not light.
But if you're only going to be hiking in a mile or two, especially like in flatland here, Wisconsin, where our sodas are really just quotas at a slight incline, it's very doable to bring that out. And
Take that with your arrow one time and do some 2 meter sideband.
Yep.
I'll tell you. I've had 2 spider beams.
Yep.
I do like them.
They're solid.
Soda beams. I've had others, but I gotta tell you, you know what I really, really like? The Max Gain. because they make a nice
Oh, Max Game.
interlocking. So if you have any type of tennis elbow going on, or arthritis, or if you got any carpal tunnel going on, if you don't have the dexterity to pull the pipe and twist, pull the pipe and twist. You do that a couple thousand times, you know what's going to happen. I really like the push it up, lock it in, push it up, lock it in. And again, just for my personal preference, I like that. Yes, they cost a little bit more, but man, and the durability, man.
Chuck also has a video on how to stroke those, stroke it up and twist it and lock it videos.
I was gonna say, have you seen the 26 meter?
As he's bending over right now for us. Thanks. Look at this. somebody screenshot that.
Joe Brett's got it, of course.
Thank you.
Spider
The
Beats
world's
has a
got it.
26 meter mast.
How much? A 26 meter?
meter.
Oh,
If you don't want to put some of the words in, but if you want a good, it's a little bit longer than some of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a good sturdy pole. It's a Go Tour Gold Light Super Hard 7.2, and that's for a small light one. That's a pretty dang good pole right there. The end of it's fairly small. I got a tape so the end doesn't come
what's
off.
on the tip? Is it? Do you just have to add like the automotive connector?
Just the tip.
But
I just used the tip.
man, we're
So what
staying out. Listen, guys, come on. We're 90 minutes and we're staying on track tonight.
So what I did here is, and I learned this from Adam. Adam takes the top ones. Like this is not the top one. The top one's inside this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's one or two, and you glue them in there, so that makes the top pretty good. And it's still 20 feet, I think. What's 7.2? I forget what that is. 25, 27 feet, something like that.
Yeah, I got the.
This is a good pole, and it's sturdy as can be.
7 meters is 23 feet.
23.
23. So it's still 20 feet. Plenty long enough for activations and stuff. That's one of my favorite ones. It's a little long. It doesn't fit inside of your backpack like that Carbon 6. I've got a Carbon 6. I haven't even used it yet. Well, no, I think I did use it here recently, but not on a real.
But what I do
activation
on the tip is I glue an automotive connector on there.
Yeah.
And then I just run a reusable nylon twist tie or an easy whatever. You know
what I gotta now. This is something I think is one of the coolest tools for ham radio is a 3D printer. If you guys, you wouldn't believe the different things I make for that. I got a thing that goes little pucks that go on my cement stakes.
Mm-hmm.
And when you put the one at the bottom and the one part way up, it holds your pole pretty well. I never guy my stuff. It's whatever the wire is up there usually. But
really,
like Steve can't use that because he can't put it in the
I
ground.
use-
Scout. What do you got with her?
Well, it's back from my backpacking days. Is this
Mhm.
Dyneema cordage?
Oh yeah.
It's 0.3. It's dirt cheap. It's stronger than all get out. It's light.
300-pound test.
Yeah, and it works great for
Really?
guying.
300?
Yep. I use it
It's fishing
for tarps for hammocking, but you can use it for guy lines. And I'll cut off a chunk about 4 or 5 inches long, and I'll fasten it right. I'll fasten it right to the tip of my mast, and with that, you can tie it into a knot and hook a carabiner on it if you got like an S clip on the end of yours, or you
I like
could
those
just
little small metal
Yep.
S clips,
Yep.
S beamers,
Chuck,
S beamers.
Chuck,
Or
do
you
you remember
can-
in the
you can
fire
just
service pony
tie it all in.
lines? Do you remember in the fire service pony lines?
Are you with the Prussic?
No, with the hose. If you had bad hose, if you went out and did your hose testing and section,
Oh yeah, your little
you
short
chop
lines.
them up, little short, and those pony lines. It's the same as what Scout was showing.
Mhm.
Those little pony lines of wire are great.
What I do
even
is
if
I
you make them like 12 inches long. What do you think,
Yeah.
Scout? 12, 15 inches long. Better to have a little bit more than less.
yeah.
Throw them in your
That's what she
backpack.
said.
So,
I,
yeah.
I print up these little just little things that slip over the top of it, and I'll get it to where it just fits, and you push it down so it'll stay on there, and then I just clip an S beaner to it. And on my some of my regular 10-meter poles, I just leave them in there. And that works really well. In fact, I think we gave those away with our first sets of antennas. I printed a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think we gave some of those away with them. I'm not sure. Tio sent those out, so I'm not sure where they went. But yeah, a 3D printer is like, I don't know, man. It's just, you can do so many things. It's not always the greatest thing. I mean, these are 3D printed. It's not as, I wouldn't say they're as good as our ones we sell, which is this one. Because the nylon's not really printed. This stuff's pretty nice. But
What they do for the nylon? Did they water jet it or?
The nylon is it's like a regular printer, like for paper. How it just lays powder on there and infuses it. It lays powder and fuses it. So it's 100% infill. There's no gaps in it at all. That's why we went with it, because Ape's like really picky.
You know,
Nah.
He's just a little picky. I mean, I got my stuff dialed in pretty good for. I mean, if we sell this one, we may sell this one as a like a 20-watt antenna.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to talk him into at least doing that, because
Market for the G90 guys.
in this size, it's not. It'd be perfect for G90s. And Ape says it'll do 20. Well, it'll do 20 watts FT8, and then it'll still do 100 watts. I think. I like this stuff here. It's clear, but you probably can't.
Okay,
see
so
it.
for without mentioning manufacturers' names, because unless you're 3D printing, you're not going to know. What would you guys say are the basic startup costs to do 3D printing?
You can do it for under 200, around $200
Yeah.
for just the printer.
Just a printer. It plugs into your computer. Download the software. Am I?
Yeah, you don't even plug it into
Software's
your
free.
computer.
Software's free. Okay.
You just use a card. Well, my new one was like $500.
Okay.
And that thing is like,
Are you
guys,
listening,
what's-
car?
car.
Coffee.
Yeah, what's the real expensive ones? They have all the orange stuff. It's basically one of those, only has a better board in it than those do. It's got a 32-bit board. But you can buy a lot of decent ones out now for $200.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's Creality kind of started that craze, and people have copied the Crealities and made some of those even better. I don't remember the names, but
Would
there's
you
some that are-
recommend? Okay, so for any of the 102 people watching, and Matt Harry makes a good point. It's not about the money; it's about the time. But minus the time issue, it's like buying your first car as a 16-year-old. Get the $200 version, fool around with it for a couple of years, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and then if you're gonna start investing into this device and using it more, then do the upgrade, right?
And Matt's totally true, because what they don't tell you, like I did a print today. You guys know
It's
what
another hobby.
You know the little hex bits for your drills and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I built these things that go into the new pack out boxes. It holds 49 bits, right? It's this big, 4-hour print. That's what they don't tell you, is how long it takes to print stuff.
So walk outside, go cut the grass, have a cigar or whatever.
I think this process here is a lot faster.
Yep.
But I can't swear to it. But the machines to do those, they're super expensive.
Yep.
Now that is expensive for those. I can do nylon in my printers I have, but I won't get that. I won't get that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll look like this, hopefully. Which is pretty decent, actually, to tell you the truth. I've got my new one prints really well. It sticks really well.
I would say a simple project is not only winders, but like dog bone insulators or something for wire antennas. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Or you can go to the ham fest and buy them off the local guy who has them in the milk crates or whatever.
To tell you the truth, I don't even use. I hardly ever use anything but just string at the end of my antennas.
Right. I know. Well, that's what I have. I know, because I have a whole box full of a dog bone.
Well,
and I'm thinking of either donating them like to the trash man, to the recycling bin, or something. Because am I right, Steve? All that stuff sitting on Steve saw my shelves. I have everything in bins. And I keep saying someday I'm going to need this. Well, I kept saying someday I'm going to need this stuff.
If you can
And
find
then
it, then you can use it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can find it. The point
No.
is am I
Yeah.
going to use it?
Right. No,
Typically, in my experience, you'll find a use for it about 3 weeks after you throw it away.
You're
Or you
absolutely
go
right.
and-
You
or you
don't
go
use
and
it
buy
for
a
5
new
to
one
8 years.
and you find
Yep.
the old one.
Yep,
You find
I've
the old one.
done both of those. Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially Cal, because when you buy a DX Commander, hold on, excuse me, when you buy a DX Commander, he sometimes throws in a few extra parts. And this is one of those.
Yeah.
If you have the parts, you don't have to worry if they're
Right.
if they haven't been used. It's not like oh my god, this thing's going to fall down on me. No. And I have my original DX Commander box. With
Yeah,
my
we
spare
redesigned
parts.
our link dipole because I'm like, hey, Tio buys. You ask what Tio does. Tio buys all the parts. I tell him what I need. He sends
Right.
it to my house.
Right.
And I didn't like the way our winder with our original link. We use the S-beaners.
Mhm.
They're bulky. It'd be great if you're leaving it up all the time, But
Right.
when you're winding on a winder that's not really big, because we try to keep our winders fairly small. So we went to something different. And that's the cool thing about being a small little business. Or what did Josh said? What do they call it in hiking and backpacking?
Cottage industry.
Cottage industry. He goes, you got a nice little
Never
cottage
heard that
industry
word. Cottage
antenna there.
industry. Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
and that's what's cool about it. We can. I mean, we're not big. There's 4 of us, and usually if it's something about antennas, they look at it like, do whatever you want, Chuck. But we took weight off the antenna, and it winds up better now.
Good.
But I sent the wrong instructions out on one guy. I'm pretty sure.
Don't.
Oops.
Don't.
Well, same
He gets
instructions. It was
he
the
gets a
parts list was wrong.
He gets a free antenna.
Uh-oh.
No, I mean all the parts were right. It just we changed. For some reason I was using an old. It's the parts inventory was wrong that I sent to the guy, and I pulled one out one day. I'm like, oh shoot, how many of this? I wonder how many of these I've sent out.
Oh no.
I grabbed the wrong thing off so I erased that off my computer. It's not on my computer anymore, so I can't make that mistake again.
There you go. Oh my God! Look at this. We have been going for an hour and 42 minutes, and Father Chuck, the Church of Chuck.
Yep.
I don't have anything else unless you guys have questions.
Oh my God! You have kept us on track. We're smoking 8.
This is like 2 weeks in a row.
Oh my
Mhm.
God! Oh my God!
Wow.
Smoking 8.
You guys
was
were pretty
really
good
trouble.
last week too.
It was just
think
how
8.
it's just how it kind of falls into place.
Yep.
It's trust me. All the please hold on, Chuck. If you think we do a lot of prep work, hang on.
Yeah.
It just
We
took
don't.
102 times to find the stride. It just
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adam makes a good point. Chuck makes. You guys ever pull something out like, what antenna was this? I need to start marking my stuff better because I got a box of I just finally threw them all in one box so I can find them.
Oh, trust me. I wish I had the patent on Sharpie pens and Post-it notes and plastic bins and
I need
all
to
this
find a
other
good
stuff.
way to mark my Moxon or my hex beam wires. I need to find something good to mark those.
What do
for
you
the
need?
bands.
Colored heat shrink.
Colored?
It's-
Okay.
Yeah.
Just use a different.
If you wanna
color
get
for each
fancy.
band.
The
For
I was
like-
thinking
I thought about
yeah.
using different color on wire because the wire
Yeah.
I'm using is what we're using, but
Mhm.
I'd probably bump it up a little bit for that antenna. But
Somebody
I thought of that.
with the DX Commander, they did a real nice job with the little, like, I want to call them cubes. They look like dice, but they did them. That was slick. That was like,
That
oh
would
my God,
probably
that was so good. Hey man, I've seen everything from the old label maker to I don't want to say bread ties, but the wide bread ties.
I did label
Um,
makers, but they're
Mhm.
kind of I don't like it.
Yeah,
I
the
know.
numbered beads from the craft store is what they used on the
That's
DX
it.
Commander.
That's it. The number beads.
Maybe that's what I'll do. That sounds
That-
good. I know.
would be
I know.
pretty slick.
I know. Buddy Hex did theirs with different color. They do different color. The ends were different colors, tape
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
heat shrink or something. But heat shrinks, I mean, you get. I use really good heat shrink on mine that I built, and I don't know that I can find that in different colors.
Matt's saying paint. Matt saying paint. Whatever you do,
Paint.
guys, find out what works in your head. As they say, your method of madness is really what it is. how you're going to remember stuff.
Mhm.
You know,
I did what Don says. I have that. I have different colored little tubes that I
so
could
you
do.
did the 3D
Mhm.
printing. So once
did
again,
do
the
that.
3D.
Like the
That was
once
on the
again,
old one though.
another project for your 3D, another hobby for your 3D printer.
The
Mhm.
problem is you got to remember to put heat shrink on before you do all
Before
your
you do,
connections.
that's right. Yeah,
I don't know how many times I've done that.
we're all guilty still. And I said the word still.
Joe Brett's probably never done that though.
Oh yes, he has.
He's
He's
more
just not.
organized.
He's not going to tell anybody.
I have my lights down low. The other day, my wife goes, Joe's something. Hey, don't mess with what you did tonight, Chuck. And my wife's like, you were really dark there. And I go, yeah, Joe said it would look good though. Just like
yeah.
turn it down like that.
There you go.
My face is red though. I don't know. It wasn't even in the sun today. It's been fun,
Hey, man.
guys. I appreciate you having me
Yeah.
over.
Well, hang out, Chuck. If you still, we still got about another 15 minutes if you want, or if you got to go, you got to go. There's a couple things I wanted to bring up tonight, but no, listen. Once again, man, we really enjoy whether
for sure.
whether our show is boring as all hell or funny as all hell, whether we're talking,
Mhm.
tubes and diodes to capacitors to, what are you drinking tonight, Izzo? And what are you smoking tonight, Izzo? I mean, who cares? It's about having fun. But I say this very sincerely. You do bring a whole new aspect to whoever show you're on, whether it's your own or whatever, and you really make guys think and make us feel very comfortable.
Sometimes I just
saying-
sit there depending on what we're doing.
Hey,
The other day, I felt like
I do that myself.
I try to watch
Well,
the chat.
Joe,
sometimes.
usually it's raining at your place, so
Yeah, I'm usually on mute.
Yeah.
Oh, the rain. Are you have like a metal roof?
Yeah, so it's 8x12 storage shed that I insulated.
Nice.
So I didn't put a lot of effort into the roof. It wasn't raining when I was designing. So
He's gonna have to 3D print something now.
Get some of that.
Yeah.
Get some of that rubber stuff that you put under, like for the
RVs
frost line.
are yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
Throw that stuff on there.
I
Yeah,
think
y'all been
no matter
having a
what
lot
you
of rain
do.
in California.
Oh man,
I've been listening to the
we've needed
GMRS
it,
guys all day.
but I am so tired of rain. In fact, it started storming today. You're talking about. I've got right up there is a skylight,
Mhm.
and I don't usually hear the rain on the skylight, but today it was like blowing hard, and it was just parts of trees hitting it and stuff, and it's like, oh, hope that doesn't break.
wow.
But it sounded pretty loud. I don't usually hear that, and my roof I don't really hear much, but I'm in a regular house, so
Mhm.
when I hear the rain, it's raining hard.
Yeah, same
We've
here.
had so much rain.
You guys have gone through the extreme of
We go
both
both
gamuts.
directions. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know
it's like
what? It'll probably rain so much, and everything will grow so much. We'll have all kinds of fires this year again, because everything grew.
Yeah,
Well, my whole thing is Lake Mead going to fill up for everybody. I guess is the big
They're
question.
going to quit finding those bodies if it does.
All right.
Well, my favorite lake is Lake Shasta, and
Uh-huh.
I haven't even gone there the last couple of years because it's like when it's supposed to be totally full, it's like drought. It looks like a drought already at the end of the summer.
Mm.
But I bet you right now it's full because I just saw the Sacramento River the other day. I was at my daughter's house, and it's been a long time since I've seen it shore to shore, just water. Usually there's like islands and all the stuff you
Right.
can see. Now it's just pure water everywhere. It's I mean Adam Dennis lives up there, and he's probably seen it, so he knows what I'm talking about.
Cool.
you know what's wild to me is for y'all that's out west, and when y'all have a flash flood warning, like it's time to get the heck out of Dodge. I've seen some videos where it's like everything's
LA gets-
perfectly dry, and then here
Mhm.
it comes. Like somebody
LA's
just,
a little like the desert. Like on the deserts, you don't want to put your tent in any kind of a riverbed
Lower.
because if it rains, you may just get washed to wherever it goes.
And
And LA's kind of that way.
But
LA's
Joe
kind of
Brett
a
makes a good
desert
point.
area.
Yeah, but Joe
Oh, yeah.
makes a good point. We're not used to that, right, Joe? I wouldn't know here in Connecticut.
It
I have
rains
no
for
idea.
days before we start getting flash flood stuff, and that's just
Mhm.
because the yard's
We're not-
turning into a pond.
We're not
slowly.
getting it
Exactly.
here so much, but we do get like I live right next to a creek, and they fixed it, and it's getting about half full. It used to get about 3/4, and then it would at 3/4 it was going over some of the roads, the bridges. And the problem we have is all the trash that runs down the creek when it turns into a river,
Mhm.
and then it congregates at the bridges because that's a place where it can't go through. The logs and stuff can't go through, and then all of a sudden it's flooding over the top. But just because stuff falls in the creek, and then we haven't. I mean, you wouldn't believe the stuff I see go down the creek sometimes now. Big guys like in their little kayaks and stuff going down sometimes.
Right.
In the middle of a storm, you know.
I mean, I was watching some of the stuff on YouTube up in a lake. Is it Lake Mammoth up there and up there in the mountains? I mean, people are being snowed in. People need to get the doctor's appointments, chemo.
Oh yeah.
There's that window of they can get down off the mountain. The problem is getting back up there and how you're going to do it. And I really feel for a lot of these people where weather has really interrupted. I'm not talking about the whiners. I'm talking about the people who need serious services.
Oh, we've probably got 12
to
to 20
live.
feet of snow in places right now.
Right. Oh, easy.
I haven't seen that
And
since I was a kid, to tell you the truth.
Truth. So.
Which is only a couple of years ago, but you know.
You know what else I haven't seen in a long time? The support of the ham radio community. And I need the crowbar this in and lead into this. So Amazon came. If you are in the chat,
Don loves Crocs.
no, I don't. I like my Merrills for relaxing. But you all,
okay.
Somebody decided to send me a baby pair of Crocs.
Baby bear.
I don't know who you are. I love you. This is great. You guys really, really know how to make me happy. When this came in, I was having a bad day. I opened this up. I thought it was something else. And when I opened this, it put a really big smile. So what have I learned? I have to say anything that's going to make me happy. You guys will do it for me. I mean, I didn't care for barbecue potato chips, but it was the thought that counts. And that's where I'm going. So I don't like $100 bills.
Yeah.
So, or $50 bill. Terrible. You can't
just really gripes you.
Yep.
Now.
Right.
I was just going to bring up the worst thing in the world ever. Is
Yeah,
Buffalo
don't send me that.
This
Buffalo
stuff is
Trace.
horrible. Don't ever.
Have you guys had the stuff that Jason likes? ACK?
What, that
Jason-
peanut butter?
The cat.
No, it's not peanut
Chattanooga
butter.
whiskey?
It's I have to
Chattanooga?
look it up. Yes.
Yes.
I think that was it. That stuff was pretty good. Jason had some down in Arizona. I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
Really?
I'd never even heard of it. My son's got a bar, and he goes, I've never heard of that.
A lot of guys at my cigar store, Scout, have been talking about that Buffalo Trace. They say that's really the bee's knees, as they would say, of some nice bourbon. So
I'm not much of a bourbon guy, but I've been really enjoying that stuff lately.
Yeah.
A little bit too much last Friday during the happy hour, as a matter of fact.
If any of y'all are watching just the StreamYard chat, you can't see Brian. Thank you for 3 months membership. But Brian also states, Izzo, you said you wanted a pair of baby Crocs to hang from the rear view of the El Camino.
well, you know what it is? These are so nice. I want to keep them in the shack here with all my other, like next to the D104, my pictures of my grandfather. I have some I got some memorabilia. I got some bobbleheads. I got Ham Radio Clubhouse QSL cards. I got little knickknacks that personalize who I am. And I don't want to take these out. I don't want to take these out of the box. But if I can strategically take them out, get a picture, I will get it posted here, and we'll do that. But whoever did that, I love that. Come as you are. I love this. These are cute. You're not going to change me, y'all. I'm not going to put on a pair of Crocs. I'll keep on wearing my Merrills. I'll keep on wearing my sneakers. I'll wear my teak or tech, whatever sandals are. My buddies call them my what do they call them? My Jesus walkers. Whatever. Hey, it's about being comfortable. So, but thank you. I love you guys. Thank you.
So
Crocs are real popular out here. I don't know.
Ah,
My
they're-
son loves his.
Dude, my daughter's wearing them. That's incredible.
My
What
wife loves
flavor?
hers.
Look, Joe,
Brett.
it's time.
That's a
Joe-
I mean,
Wow.
Well,
these
Joe,
have been with me for years,
oh
man.
my God, you have been.
They've got.
You've done
I mean, the
everything in
Velcro is so good it won't even come loose now. Look at that.
Wow.
Woo!
there you go.
They didn't
That's
come
no
with the
joke.
holes in the
I'll
side,
bet you could put them
Man.
outside that door. You're not going to get no possum or porcupine near your house. I bet you that's
I've got another pair put up in the closet for Sundays. You know, my Sunday Crocs.
your Sunday Crocs. When
Mhm.
you know you're a Croc guy when you only have a pair for church or for that.
When
serious-
Just so you
comes
know they're
over.
real.
Company comes
There's the
over.
logo. Okay. Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, guys, let's go around the room here. We're going to go around the room. Chuck, why don't you start it off, Chuck? Again, thank you.
All right, yeah, I've been doing my ELAD videos lately. My second one, people didn't seem too interested. It was basically adding a Android tablet to it. I did I did a thumbnail and Ape goes, "That looks like a 710." I go, "Thanks, that was supposed to." You know, their little ad with the monitor in the background, but pretty cool. It would really be cool if the sound and everything came through that. But the first one did pretty good. The ELAD's it's a pretty cool radio, let me tell you. So
Interesting.
I was trying to play. I made contact with Mike when he was doing his 10 meter today,
Mhm.
and he didn't hear me very well. I heard him. But I was using my Yagi, but I recorded him, and I couldn't. Every time I clicked on it to share it, it went off. I don't know what was going on. I think it's because I'm on a different. My StreamYard's in a different place than it usually is. Different
Gotcha.
chat. But other than
Well,
that,
thanks
I've
again
got
for coming.
I got a couple other little things I got to do. I've got like a little. I got a 300 amp hour battery I bought for my motorhome. I'm going to do a review on that. If I figure out how to test it and not take a week, and then an inverter. There's more camping stuff, and then you guys know what what's it called? What is this thing called? It's a battery monitor, but it's a bus bar, I think. No, not bus bar. They call it something.
Well, it
else.
says battery
Shunt?
monitor on the box.
A shunt. Yes, thank you. It's a shunt.
Yes.
So I'm going to use that. It's actually for our yurt up there. We're doing some solar in the yurt. I'll be doing some stuff on that too. I'm really getting into solar stuff right now. So
Very cool.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We know we love it when you
thanks for
come
having me, man.
when you come into the chats and and everything. So we'll have you back. You know that. You don't need a welcome. I mean, you don't need that invitation. You know that.
Yeah, I gave you guys a bad time there earlier, but I was just
No,
joking.
please.
Obviously, the audience likes you too, man. I mean, we got
Yeah.
a few more viewers than last week, so that's a plus.
Yeah. Or is it because of Scout 75?
Could be.
Oh,
Could
you,
be.
you would have been over 300 if it wasn't for me. Sorry, guys.
We left the
Well,
keys under the
wait
mat.
a minute. Wait.
Yeah, I just hit by the door, and when
Yeah.
Chuck walked in, I just tailgated him and just followed him right in.
When I said wait,
Yeah.
I meant you too, Shane.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
Hold on.
Why is your lights not red? You've not adjusted your lights for daylight savings?
No, that automation
Uh-huh.
just quit working.
Hey, I didn't want you to be confused.
Oh no,
Be late going to bed and stuff, last call.
Oh no, that automation quit working. I'll get it going next time.
Okay.
Promise.
Just an
Sorry.
observation. I'm
I
sorry.
was gonna say he just gets an extra hour of drinking. That's all it is.
That's what it is. There you go.
Yeah.
You have any videos coming up? You think? Because there was a whole bunch of comments on Twitter today. Say, hey, wait a minute, Scout didn't put anything up before us.
Yeah, I've been a little preoccupied with work. There's some fire ups there that we had to take care of. I got about 4 videos that I've been editing, so I will be getting them out next Tuesday. I'll be releasing a video, all portable radio stuff, a little bit more of the digital voice and the WinLink as I explore that a little bit. And if we get a little snow to melt away, so it's not way steep. I'm going to start doing some summits on the air pretty soon. I've been itching to get out and do a little bit of that. So I've been cooped up too long. Time to do some backpacking and hitting the trails. So that'll be coming up soon.
I hear you. Well, I think people don't really realize what it takes to do the video. If you want to add some B-roll, you want to edit it, and sometimes I know we get a little bit particular. We want it a certain way that adds more time, but again, you're also another one who produces some really, really fun stuff for us to watch. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah. My stuff is not technical, not informative. Far as doing like a high-end review of stuff, is just me trying to show that guy that's not that great at anything. I got a little bit of a speech impediment. I can't hear, but yet I'm going out and playing radio outside, which is not ideal. So if I can do it, you can do it. So
there you go.
That's all there is to it.
I tell everybody, you're not going to get an unboxing video from me, because you want to know what I do? I'm the guy who cuts open the box and where it says don't use a knife or whatever, I'm cutting the instructions in half.
Yep.
And does it really make a difference? Because I'm not going to use the instructions anyway.
Yep.
Nope.
I'm the guy where I used to build everything by visual. Sue was the one who used to read the instructions, and we used to have at Christmas time. It was always fun to see whose stuff for the kids would get built faster and stay, Yeah.
My unboxing videos will be mostly me swearing.
And here I am. I had all the tools. I said, no. I'm going to do this. I remember one year I said, okay, I'll give you the tools, thinking it was a handicap. Yeah. She still kicked my ass.
So you mentioned that, I ordered something one time, and you know how they'll put the packing slip with the little plastic cover over it right along the seam of the box. And, I was like you. I just cut right through it. I don't need my packing list. I know what I ordered. And then I get to looking for the instructions.
What's underneath?
They put it in the packing list little thing. Great.
Oops.
I don't know why they just don't put the instructions on the bottom, because nobody opens, or at least that I know of, we don't open boxes from the bottom. We always pick it up, we look at it, and like today, a box came in. I'll tell you about it all, and maybe next week or a couple more weeks. It's sitting in the garage right now, wanting to get out of rain. But it came in. Matthew kind of put it in the garage. It was upside down. I turned it right side up. So when I go to open it, I have to, at least I'll do that. But will I dig down into something and ruin it? Yeah, there's a good chance. There's a good chance.
Absolutely.
Steve, what's up? What do you got going on? Anything? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got just a list of videos to do. I'm working on them slowly, but work is kind of getting in the way. Got to pay the bills first. So take care of the family. Yeah,
absolutely.
But it'll be all right. Trailer's coming along.
Good.
Had I ordered the correct inverter, I think we would be done with it by the end of the month. But had to send that one back and get the correct one. So
I was just going to say, so now we either have two or we're sending one back.
Sending one back, because at $1,500 for an inverter, that's not something I want two of.
Okay, well, didn't know. Since you have all that money now, since you won the South Carolina Lotto.
Yeah, no, that's not
what
my
inverter
money.
did you buy? How much?
It's a 14.
Victron?
Yeah, it's a Victron. It's the inverter charger.
Oh, okay.
But we're doing an actual ham radio trailer for the club.
Gotcha. I like Victron stuff.
Yeah, they're proud of their stuff.
When I buy the shunt for my motorhome, that's what it's going to be.
Right. Yeah, and I'm thinking about adding the shunt and also the solar charge controller to it, so I can have the whole system where we can monitor everything from the screen.
Yeah, what's nice about their stuff is you can do it right on your phone. I mean, you can see 30 days worth of what your battery's been doing.
Yep, excellent.
So,
Joe Brett, you didn't have to leave in the middle of the show to take care of business.
So far, so good. Yes.
So far, so good.
Supper wasn't that bad. Yeah. So as far as videos, well, it's interesting. I've actually did 2 videos this weekend that you're not going to see probably, because they were working with working with the radio, I've been telling them about this particular problem with this radio. It's the only major thing I can find is the mic element is it's bad. It's low audio, and I think they were confused. Izzo needs to do a uncrocking video, Mike says. But so finally they're like, could you make us a video showing us demonstrating what you're talking about? Absolutely. So I did a video doing some comparison with a couple of different of their, I don't know what you call that, not project, but anyway, their first generation of trying to make this radio. Then these IP radios that I mentioned that I'm going to do, this is something I asked for from a company like last year. Zello used to be able to do a radio gateway, and I actually had a gateway set up here at the house where you could use Zello on your phone, but talk RF out of my 2-meter radio that was connected to the computer.
Correct.
That worked pretty neat. It was a hassle trying to keep people verified on whether they actually had a ham license or not. But so Zello has moved that service over to a paid service now. And then they send me the radios. Of course. I'm like, well, great. Well, I wasn't real excited about it, but they asked me, said, hey, could you do a demonstration video of how these work for us to show at the International Conference Expo?
The International Zello Conference?
No,
oh my God.
No.
Oh, that's ICWE?
ICWE.
In Las Vegas.
This is Nevada, I think they said.
Yeah, Vegas.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
ICWE is huge. Dude, you've made it.
Well, I wish I could see it. I don't know. They didn't say they was going to use it. I hated it because there's can you make a demonstration video? And that's all they asked for. And I'm like,
yo, they're going to show it.
Okay,
when you're pumping gas?
Yeah.
You know when you're at the urinal and you got someone to look at?
Oh, me.
I
have thought about putting some Clubhouse advertisement commercials on the gas station radios. But,
absolutely, we had to do that.
So anyway, I'm like, no more instructions than that. I'm like, okay, I'll shoot a video of me pushing buttons on the thing. But I think I did okay. They got a 10-minute video out of it.
I bet you did great. I'll bet you did great.
I was trying to barter with them. These radios, a lot of the IP radios you get already come with Zello on it or the Google Play Store because they run Android system on it. Mm-hmm. And you can add stuff like Echolink and Zello, whatever you want to. These, you could not. They were locked down. They had no Play Store. They had no file browser. I was talking with T.O. I'm like, I'm about to drive myself crazy.
I was just going to say, I bet you T.O. can jailbreak it for you.
Yeah, I think he was just enjoying watching me stress out over it. But, so
I
never
saw him say that.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was after about 500 different applications and different tricks, I did finally get access to installing apps on these things and got them loaded where I talked with Scooter 75 and Sam on the Toads YSF little thing Jim's got put together. Sam said my audio sucked, but it sounds great on Echolink and stuff. So we'll have to play with that. But I've got it kind of now related to a ham radio over internet stuff. So I'm kind of excited about that. We'll be playing with that.
Excellent. Very good. Wow. The things you'll learn. This is why we're down to 84 people. So the 15 to 20, the 15 to 20 people who left, if you had to leave, I get it, but you just missed.
That's because you let Chuck say goodbye first. If you would have made him wait, they all would have waited to see what Chuck had to say.
Probably not.
The things we learn here at Clubhouse. Oh my
I gotta
God,
go cook dinner now.
All right, so I'll make it short and sweet. Hey, listen, I want to thank everybody for coming. What are we gonna do next week? I don't know. We'll probably figure it out on Tuesday morning, and then we'll send out the link. Cue the violins because every time I have a day off, it's been raining. We got a nor'easter going on right now in my immediate area. It's a tiny wet snow, but mainly rain. I got a 3-day weekend coming up. and I think they're calling for rain again. So I am jonesing to get out and start playing some POTA. I've been hunting. I had fun today working Portugal and a whole bunch of other places here down here in the shack. I had to do some Windows updates, just like everything else. You got to do a little maintenance, right? You got to do some manscaping. You got to get some updates on your Windows box. You know how it goes.
TMI there.
Well, it's about being a man. It's about being a man.
Just saying.
Well, it's just like before you go out to the park. You got to make sure you got all your gear and everything else. You got to make, because you don't want to, do something.
That's my new T-shirt design. TMI,
that?
big bold letters with parentheses, Izzo.
TMI is
Anyway, so we're going to have some fun next week. We'll figure it all out. If you are looking to come on our show, if you have been supporting us, if you have been watching us for a real long time, if you want to call us out, if you want to just have some fun with us, send us an email.
You can fill out an application.
We'll review. There is an application process. The board has to go through it. We will try to expedite that. There is no fee. That's how good we are. We don't charge a fee for that, like other places. But seriously, if you want to come on the show and rag the, hey, that's how we found Scout 75. He was just kicking. He was kicking a can down the street. He was crying because his antenna was caught up in a tree, and we put our arms around him. We said, dude, it'll be all right. Come into the clubhouse. Am I right, Scout?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is that
Wait
how it
a
works?
minute. You're not charging anymore to be on?
Your credit card still gets charged. We told you that. All right.
We have no control over that. Once it's there, it's there.
Right.
I was going to say, Beer Snack takes care of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And once again, to the person who was responsible for this, you are
Like a
awesome.
timeshare.
Yeah. Read the small print. Read the
Nice.
small print. Hey guys, seriously, thank you for those of you who sent me these pair of baby Crocs. For those of you who have sent the barbecue potato chips, the seasoned stuff, I appreciate you guys. And I remember I told you guys a couple weeks ago, somebody sent me a shovel. So as soon as it starts getting warm out, I'm going to load up that metal shovel, and we're going to play some radio off the metal shovel and everything. So, who wants to play that outro music, and so we can get the heck out of here and go to bed?
I got it.
All right, goodbye.
Say goodnight,
Wave, everybody.
Bye.
7-3, everybody.
Yeah.
Coming soon to a mobile gas station in your neighborhood, Joe Brett, while you pump your gas.